Rated M for M-Balm. This is the M-Balm Effect, your one-stop shop for unfiltered discussions.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning into the M-Balm Effect tonight. Tonight is a very important night. I have somebody with me that is, they have a lot of insight on the life of Precious, otherwise known as one of the individuals who was involved in the Sam Nordquist case. I want to talk about this with my special guest tonight. Tucker, thank you for joining me tonight.
Nice to meet you. Absolutely.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for
call me Dez.
Dez, you got it.
Yep.
Dez. I just I'm very appreciative of you reaching out, and I know it takes a lot to be able to, walk through some insightful things that you experienced in your time of dating Precious. And I know that it's probably not the easiest thing to talk about, but especially with the way things are right now, it's probably the most important to be able to dive into those insightful experiences that you experience yourself.
Absolutely.
So first and foremost, introduce yourself to everyone that may or may not know you.
Hello, my name is Dez Tucker, but everyone knows me as Dez. I was in a relationship with Precious for two years. It might have been a little longer. It might have been like a little 2.5 years maybe, but it was definitely about 2 years. And what I went through with her from that entire 2 years was just, it was crazy. It was unbelievable. So I wanted to come on here because I found out what happened to Sam. A lot of people were messaging me, and at this point, I'll do anything and let everybody know whatever they want to know, and I'll be glad to tell my story about what I went through with Precious, because it does have almost a lot to do with Sam.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's just, this happened literally in our own backyard. It's so close to home.
yes.
And, you hear stories all the time, and there's things that we've touched upon on this show over the last 6 years of doing this. But this, you ask yourself, how does it get to this point, right? So you ask yourself, what were the steps on everyone's account? How did we end up in this situation where Sam unfortunately came to New York from Minnesota and met his demise here, unfortunately and tragically, in Canandaigua?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think a lot of people understand, like, the side of all the things that happened behind closed doors. And first and foremost, exactly what happened, because, people probably look at the pictures of those involved and ask the questions, what drove them to do what they did? What brought them to the point that they just couldn't turn back from, which was this particular incident,
Right. I mean, that a lot of people see pictures of, like, of her and other people, or her and me, TikToks, and they're like, "Oh, you looked so happy." I did look happy, but at that point, you just do anything, to make it seem like, everything's all good, and behind closed doors, everything's not as it seems. You know what I mean? Everyone thinks, like, you don't judge a book by its cover, and I tell everybody that, because no one knows exactly what happens behind closed doors.
100%. Yeah, this photo here shows you and Precious together with the words vibes.
Carolina. Yep. And
it was in Carolina?
That was in North Carolina. Yep.
North Carolina. So, I mean, just in general of meeting Precious and, your first impression of her, what was that like? Was there anything that showed her true colors at that point in time? Or was it just straight up just a complete front?
At the very beginning of everything, no, it was perfect. It was like, I thought it was going to be great. You know what I mean? I thought I was in love. She was so sweet. She was such a sweetheart in the beginning. And everything didn't really transpire until, a little bit later on down the road. Not very long after, but wasn't in the beginning. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, usually that's what ends up happening with people with narcissistic tendencies. You can't really pinpoint any of that stuff yet. It takes a little bit of time for that curtain to kind of be pulled back a little bit so that way
Yep.
you have the insight of what's really going on behind the scenes. And I think everybody on this planet can, have their own story of somebody they met that has narcissistic tendencies, and just the fact that, it's, a lot of people are like, well, how do you not see the red flags? And it's like, well, that's not always the easy part. The part of it is like, you have to get to know that person in order for them to kind of let the walls collapse,
Right.
and
Yeah.
just take that easy, like ease up on it. And then they get comfortable. And then soon enough, you'll find out who they are.
Yep. Exactly. Yep. You don't just see a red flag. It's, I mean, maybe, I'm not sure, you know what I mean? But I mean, me with being with her, when I first got with her, there was like no red flags. Like I said, the only thing that I wasn't like too fond of is like her living situation. Like, you know what I mean? How like she lived, like her house looking like, cause I'm very OCD, you know what I mean? That was like the only thing that like really bothered me in the beginning was like, she lived really dirty, and I just didn't expect it. It was just, I was just so excited to be with her, and she's like, "Oh, I have my own house," and put down the paperwork eventually, and we get there, and it's a trailer in a trailer park, and this trailer was, oh my god, I wouldn't let anybody live there. Nobody.
Yeah, I honestly saw there was a video that was released on
Hmm.
social media, and I saw the living conditions of what her bathroom looked like,
Oh,
just let alone in a trailer that she lived in previously before Patty's Lodge.
yeah.
And everyone on the comments is like, "Oh my God, kids live here, right?" And the first question I asked myself was, were those kids there during this whole ordeal with Sam and everything that was going on at Patty's Lodge?
The answer to your question is yes, they were there. They were there while everything was going on at Patty's Lodge. Them kids witnessed everything that she did to Sam. Six
Yeah,
years, 12 years old.
yeah, that to me. I'm somewhat of a new father. My son, we had my wife and I had him in a couple of years ago now, and I just could not imagine just I couldn't imagine living, with that whatever mindset she's in. And I don't think anybody can understand that except for her. I just couldn't. I also most definitely couldn't understand putting your kid in a situation where they're witnessing something so horrific, so heinous.
Right.
Um, but not even that, just the living conditions, like you're saying, and just
Yeah.
to have them live in that condition alone is just, and a lot of people are questioning, how come nobody did anything in the past when these
Um,
conditions were present.
the case really, I mean, it was really CPS and really DSS. Like I mean, there was complaints made by myself. Like I literally called CPS on the living conditions, on how she treated her children. I told them everything that she was doing wrong, that, I mean, that she doesn't deserve to have her kids. And they went there, and she even posted a video on TikTok saying, and I quote, it literally said, to whoever called, because she didn't know it was me. I mean, I pretended it wasn't me because I knew if she knew it was me, crazy things would have happened to me. So she literally put on there, and this was when we were together. It said, to whoever tried to call or CPS and DSS on me, she said, haha, the joke's on you. They came, they saw, and they closed my case.
Yeah,
So I mean,
that's
yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
so, like, you've reported this and everything, and I have a picture of her right now. This is the mugshot of Precious, otherwise known as the person who's the ringleader of this whole Sam Nordquist case. And just being able to say that you reported her and all this stuff, and I'm sure countless other people did too, as far as I have looked up and researched,
Yeah.
and yet nothing, unfortunately, seems to have been done on behalf of anybody, and with Patty's Lodge in itself. And I know we're going to talk about that because Patty's Lodge is not the only place like it. And I know
No.
that you have lived in places that are similar to Patty's Lodge. And I think a lot of people need to understand what really goes down in those places and what it's like to live in those specific locations.
Yeah, it was something like even just outside of Patty's Lodge, all them places that are linked up with DSS for people to go to, they're all cash only, if I'm not mistaken. And you know what I mean, they're all, they don't care. They, like where I was at, I was in America's Best in Geneva with her, and they just didn't care. Like they didn't, obviously they didn't care, because when I went there, like room wasn't necessarily dirty, but it was very cluttered, and it stunk like urine, because her kids would, use the bed as, I mean, her son literally would go to the bathroom wherever he felt like it, everywhere but a toilet. Like, he literally, I caught him peeing in corners on bicycles. I caught him, you know what I mean? So it stunk like urine a lot. It was, and like, she never vacuumed or anything, you know what I mean? You'd have to go to the office to get the vacuum or whatever, and I'm, like I said, I'm a very clean person, so I was always cleaning. But every time anything I was doing, like, no matter what I did, I was the one doing everything. She would make me take care of her children, feed her children, you know what I mean? Even her daughter is 11 turning 12 when I was with her, and she literally was taking care of her little brother, who was 5 turning 6 at the time. And like, she was literally like his mother, and she used to say how, like, because how mean she was to them, like, when she would, like, be mean or beat them or whatever she did to her kids, like, in front of me, her daughter would come out and say, "Oh, I'm taking Javi when he's 18, or when I'm 18, I can't wait, I'm taking Javi." And I mean, I don't have, I mean, I never had nothing against it, because obviously Javi would be in better hands with anybody but Precious, even that little girl. There was a time where she cut her hair off, like, completely off, shaved it off in the middle of the night. And she did that because her mother kept pulling her hair out of her head. Everything she did, it didn't matter what she did, whether it was good or bad. That little girl and that little boy got beat up by her mother every single day. And there was literally nothing I can do about it, because then I would get beat up too, So, like, I did try, though. It's not like I didn't try, I did everything I could. And she, like, would put, like, there was times where she would put pillows over her kids' faces, and smother that, like, try to, like, look like they were smothered, like, being smothered. And she's like, "I'll kill you if you don't stop," or, like, just the crazy things that she would say, which you shouldn't say to kids at all. It doesn't matter how old they are, you know what I mean? Like, that's your child. You shouldn't tell them, you want to kill them or whatever. And, like, crushing up Benadryl in a pill crusher and making her son have Benadryl inside of a drink just so he would sleep, so that she didn't have to take care of him. Or melatonin too. There was lots of things that, many things that she did that she shouldn't have been doing. She should have just never been a parent at all.
Yeah, 100%. And honestly, was there any point in time, because I know, like, everybody talks about threatening, kids and all that. Like, I know that there's people out there that may get angry and say stupid things like that. But was there any point in time where you were like, "Oh my God, this lady's gonna really kill her kid with a pillow," or anything like that?
That's exactly what it seemed like. It was scary. It was, you know what I mean? Because, like, even if I tried to stick up for them kids, and, you know what I mean, and, like, ask her, like, "Why are you doing that?" I would get the gist of it. I would get the worst of it, honestly. I would get beat, or, like, she would speak to me verbally in horrible ways, like, that nobody should ever be spoken to. Like, I don't know, just the way she spoke to me. Like I said, I sent you audios, and just like that, it was just the way she was behind closed doors speaking to me was how she was in public. It didn't matter where we were or who it was. That's just how she spoke to you.
Yeah. Did you want to play some of these audios?
Yeah, go ahead. You can play them if you want. Go for it.
Okay. Because I know that, so I just want to,
And now these, I don't know which one you're playing. So the one that is labeled America's Best,
that's the one I got.
Yeah, that's right before I left the last time. That was in December of that was January of 2023. 24.
Okay.
24.
Okay. So in the beginning, there's, like, obviously we're not worried about, censoring swear words or anything like that, but, like, how long is this one?
I believe it's like 5 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. Like I said, it was pretty long. I mean, the entire time.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So if you're just tuning into the M-Balm Effect now, I am with Dez Tucker. Let me just play this audio recording, and we will obviously discuss what you went through in this situation. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm going to have to convert it.
Okay.
It's not letting me play it, so that's okay. We will be able to play it. So with the first recording, like, what led into it before we start playing it? Was there anything that was stand out to it?
She was okay. So she was with someone, I guess, years before I was with her. They call him North Star. I'm not willing to discuss his name at the time, because I don't think he would be happy with that. But so they call him North Star. He came to the hotel to see a buddy of his. I'm not sure who or whatever, or what that situation was about, but that was when I first got there in December of 2023. she went with him. I'm not sure where she went with him, but she came in and told me that he wanted her to go scare somebody out of a house. I don't know, some weird, crazy story she gave me. Well, it wasn't the case. She went and she was gone. This was Christmas Eve. She was gone from, I believe it was like noon until like 2 a.m. that day. And she came in and she told me we were going to spend Christmas at his house. And I was happy with that because, I mean, who wouldn't want to spend Christmas at a house and not in a hotel? So that's where I went with, like, I wanted to do with that, you know what I mean? And like, I bought them kids like a bunch of stuff and brought it down there with me. So that was literally how they had a Christmas, was because of me. So we get to North Stars, you know, and just a bunch of stuff transpired, and I'll let you know exactly what happened, you know, after you play the audios. But it was pretty much because of all of everything that happened there. Like, she was pretty much trying to be in a relationship with a man at the same time she was with me, but I didn't know she was trying to be in a relationship with him at the moment. You know what I mean? I found out all this after. And that was what the recording is from, because I was trying to, you know, I was asking her, like, why are you doing this to me? Like, why, you know, I was wondering why she's in a bed with someone else and not with me. Like, we're supposed to be in a relationship. And because I was pressuring her and wanting to know answers, you know what I mean? That's how she gets. When you corner a cat, and you know, when you put an animal in a corner, it's going to eventually come at you, right? So that's pretty much how it was. You know, I was asking her and asking her and asking her, and then she just started flipping out. And
So I have it up here now. Let me just play it for you, and just we'll discuss more about it.
Call him out for the nigger he is. I did all that. Well, I heard you. How about that, bitch? I defended you and us. Right? Chose your fucking ass over him, right, bitch? I was good with you then, right? You're the reason why we got in that situation. Had I not chose you, me and the kids would have been fucking fine. So remember that, bitch. When you're leaving the fuck out my fucking house and my rules, or my world. Remember that. My loyalty was with your fat, stupid ass. Not my fucking kids, not my fucking baby dad, not my unborn baby. Not my mom, not my girlfriend. It was with your bitch ass.
Can you hear all that, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So at this point, you know, she's talking to you, right? So this is where she's talking to you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at this point, like, was this the beginning of the argument, or was this like towards the middle of it?
It was just like the end. This is before I called it. Right? You can hear her like in there. You in the face.
Oh, you're breaking up a little bit. Sorry about that.
Recording, because she tried to lie that I hit her, and that's how they knew her.
You were breaking up there a little bit. I don't know if there's a connection or something.
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay. So that was like more towards the end. I said when I would like leave. You know what I mean? So she punched me in that recording. You hear it. It's like towards the end. I called the cops. She tried to tell the cops. I put hands on her. Did ever. And that's I'll prove it to them, because you could hear the whole. So that was right.
All right, so we'll play more. Yeah, we'll play more of this just to get a more insightful look.
Yeah, I can explain.
Tell the right story, bitch.
As you.
I chose you. You're the reason why Daniel was treating me and my kids like shit. Did you tell everyone that? You're the reason. Because you were the one that was the threat. You were the threat. I could have moved my mom, my son, everybody I wanted to in that fucking house. And I got rid of you. But did I? No. And look what happened. Bitch, I was raped, abused the whole fucking time I was there, because I chose you. You, Desiree. You. Might be losing my baby because of you. Again.
It's all my fault. Everything's me.
Fault.
Everything.
You treated me like
It's all
shit
my
the whole
fault.
time we were there. You knew what Daniel was doing and saying about me and you, and you still decided to treat me like shit. Even when I told him I didn't want to be in the streets no more, to stay home with you and my kids, your bitch ass still treated me like shit. Right? Why you got your phone like that? Because if you're recording me, I'm going to beat you the fuck
I'm
up
recording
right here,
shit.
right now.
I'm waiting for my fucking mom to call me.
Why? Why's your mom calling?
Because she asked me if I needed money.
Sucking your mom's pussy and titties again?
Yep, I am.
Mm-hmm. She's psychotic.
Here, I'll help you. Go, you can leave now.
I have nowhere to go.
Get
I'm
out.
not leaving till morning.
Then I'll beat you the fuck up right now. Get the fuck out. Couldn't you do money from your mom for me and you and the kids to get out safe, but you can get money now. Fuck off. Self-centered, selfish fucking bitch.
Yeah, I'm so self-centered and selfish.
You are.
Yep.
You are. Because damn sure, like I said, all this misery, all that shit Daniel's doing and saying he did was because of you, because I chose your stupid ass. So yeah. But you don't see that. Because you're a selfish, self-centered, conniving cunt that left me 7 times. Because of your own selfish, drug-addicted shit. Bye-bye. Now be quiet. I knew you were going to start acting like a funny-ass whore.
No, I'm not acting funny. You're the one treating me different, and you've been. Like you said.
Right when she tells me, I said you were a mistake, and that's when she came.
So at that point, this is where you're leaving.
This is where I'm leaving. Yeah, we were in her mom's hotel room because her mom's hotel room, Shirley, is her mother.
Yeah.
Her mom was literally right next to us in the room, in the other room, and it started in her room. And she tipped me out of the chair. Like I was in a recliner and she tipped the entire chair over. And that's when she told me she would help me get my stuff. I went walk next door and I'm just packing my stuff at this point. And then you'll hear her tell me I'm a mistake. The one that said bye-bye, that was the little boy because he's time. Yeah, that was her 6-year-old. He was like, bye-bye, because, and that's when she told him to be quiet. That's what that was that you just heard. But yeah, in a minute, you'll hear her tell me I'm a mistake. And she closed the door. And I said, no, you were the mistake. And she said, I was. And as soon as she said that, she punched me in the mouth.
Jesus.
Yep, busted whole mouth open, my teeth out and everything.
Oh, man. We do have some comments. Aaron says, Dez, you were echoing, hon. I don't know if there was maybe something to do with the audio. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not.
Brittany says she is so awful of a human. I pray she finds Jesus. And April says, so she's claiming rape and abuse, but yet abuses other people.
She tried to say that he raped her, and it wasn't. He didn't. It was willingly. She was literally sleeping in this man's room, and telling him that they were in a relationship. And she's also telling him that I was her babysitter. That's why I was there. But she was telling me that we were together and that he was trying to help her have a baby. Now, mind you, I never agreed to having a baby, and she was never pregnant either. She was never, ever pregnant, ever. She ended up getting her period, and she tried to tell everybody that I made her miscarry, and she tried to play off that was a miscarriage, and it wasn't. It was literally just a menstrual cycle. That was literally it. And she literally twice she did that to me, twice. And here I am the entire time thinking like she really was pregnant and having a miscarriage, because I don't have children. I've never in my life I don't know what it's like to have a miscarriage or a baby, nothing like that. So, you know what I mean? I never was with anybody that wanted to have children, and as soon as I got there, as soon as I met her, she looked at me dead ass and said, are you going to want to have a baby with me too? Because everyone that gets with me does. I said, no, I don't understand why she would even ask me that. Yeah. Easy. Lots of craziness. She was never pregnant. She never got raped. So let me just put that out there because that's not true.
Yeah. So there's more to this audio clip, right? So we're going to continue playing more of.
Get my son's probation officer's number.
I don't have it. I never put it in my wallet.
You did pick it up.
No, the fuck, I did not pick it up and put it in my wallet. I don't have
Picked it up. Where is it?
I don't fucking need it.
Where is it?
I don't fucking know where it is.
You picked it up off the floor.
Precious, I don't have it. So are you.
Did you say so am I? Huh? So am I? So am I? So am I? I'm a mistake. I'm a mistake? I'm a mistake, you fat, stupid, ungrateful bitch? Desiree, you're dead, bro.
Good. You wanna fucking hit me? Alright. Bet. Fucking dumb cunt. Fucking washed up whore.
Sorry, I was pissed off. I believe that's the end of
Yeah, that's the end of it right there. So towards the end there, you can tell she got upset because you
Yep, and that's
responded. Yeah.
when you go try to leave, she got even more violent. And I really truly believe that's what transpired with Sam, because Sam had a two-way ticket, and when it was time for him to go back is when probably everything really got crazy for Sam, and he didn't end up going home, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So honestly, that's
Brooklyn-
where things get worse when you try to leave.
Yep, exactly. And Jennifer too. Like that laundry room that I was in is the laundry room Jennifer was sleeping in when I first got there. She had Jennifer down there sleeping in that laundry room, and I didn't even know that girl was there until I got there. It was so crazy.
Yeah. Brittany says, my heart goes out to all those kids. She should never be able to have kids. I am sorry, Dez. You had to go through all that. No one deserves that.
Thank you. I appreciate you, Brittany.
And honestly, I feel the same way. I'm sorry you had to experience this madness. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, it's like you don't understand what's happening until you're in the midst of it, and you've already invested a lot of time and money and everything involved with the relationship that you're in, and then it's like in the midst of it all, you're realizing this is not exactly how I planned it to be, how I saw it coming to fruition. Instead,
Right.
you are now in the midst of pretty much hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was honestly hell. Probably wouldn't have been that bad compared to that ass. Like she's definitely something. She's evil. I don't even know if evil's the word for her. Like she's just, I don't know, very repulsive, very evil. It's just crazy. She's ugly. She's ugly all the time, and there's no reason for it.
So we have this other one. This is Willard Memorial Chapel 2.
That one was right before the one you just played. This is when we were in Auburn, New York, and this is pretty much where it all started.
Okay.
She on video chat with, I'm not even sure how many people. I think there was like 20 of them, and like how they go in the little boxes on your screen on TikTok, you can add people to your boxes or whatever. She literally had the max amount of people she could add to her boxes, and they were all on there. And she wasn't speaking to me, but she was pretty much indirectly speaking to me, but talking to them. And I was laying in my bed. So I think it's like the first minute of that, you have to fast forward because you won't hear nothing. I was waiting for her to come down because she was not in the room at that moment. And then she came in the room, and I was pretending to like I was in like a fetal position, and I had my head down in the blanket, and I would have pillow over it, and so she couldn't see my face, and she couldn't see what I was doing. I was recording her. Yeah. So if she would have found out I was recording her, it would have been much. She thought I was crying, honestly.
Yeah. And I always think about that too. Like now that I'm listening to all this, and now you're telling, she's like, "Are you recording me?" And you're like, "No." And you think about what if she found out you did, and luckily and thankfully she didn't.
Exactly what she said. If I was, she said, "I'll beat you up right now, Desiree. You're dead." Like that girl always told me I was gonna die or she was gonna kill me. I had people. Actually, I have more pictures for you to send. His name was Frederick Dillingham. And it was supposedly her brother, and he was in the Bloods. And if I did anything to her, he was going to come after me. Like I was literally in the shower, and I was just getting out of the shower. I just turned the water off, and I just grabbed the towel to put it around me. And he comes barging into the bathroom at the hotel room talking about, "Oh, if you hurt my sister, I'm going to kill you. And if you leave, I'll be able to find you on Ben Verified. I can get your social right now. I can get any number. You can change your number right now." And he's like, "I'll still get your number." So like I was terrified because I really thought this girl was going to come find me. And then after I leave, she came and showed up at my job. And then like, so I was even more terrified because like by then my PTSD was just like over the top. And I met my wife, and it was just crazy. And then she's texting me, telling me, I believe I sent you the text message, but I do have pictures of Frederick, the guy that threatened me, and I will send them to you. Actually, I could probably send them to you. I'll send them to you.
So I have the text message here actually up in
Yep.
up
That
on
was
the screen.
right before I got with my wife and moved to Ohio. That was the very last text message she sent to me.
So she says, "I miss you, Desiree. Changed your number though. Like that's crazy. I would have never." And she says, "LOL. Tell your girlfriend I said hi. Hello. How are you?" She responds again. That was it was instant. I swear in love already too. Like the fuck shit is that? This is why I chose another way. I knew you were easy as fuck and played with my head this whole time. And she says, "You never meant anything you said to me, and I gave you my whole being and some almost killing myself and lost 2 babies just to keep you happy, and you still lied to me and never loved me and kept it really real." And then you responded, "Go fuck yourself, leave me alone. I am happy. I don't want you. Like never ever again, Precious. Go be with your girlfriend. I don't even know why you even hit me up. I don't know how you got my number either, but like I said, leave me alone. Because if you don't, I am going to press harassment charges against you, 3 unwanted messages to a phone after I said to leave me alone, so don't. Bye."
Yeah, 3 unwanted messages after you tell someone to leave you alone in Pennsylvania is considered harassment.
Yeah. It's a
Yeah.
lot to take in there, especially when you're trying to move on and this person that, you've cut all ties with is still trying to hit you up and just cause more grief that you don't need.
Well,
You're
that's
trying to get on from that.
I left prior to this because every time I was with her, I know I left a lot, but I mean there's something called a trauma bond, and I went back to her because of that trauma bond. And she would always sit there, messages like that would come in, and she'd be like, "I miss you." Like how she was in person versus how she was over the phone was kind of 2 different people. And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, well maybe she does have some good in her, and maybe that was just because she was just so irritated that day. Maybe I should go back. And I just kept thinking about it, and I'm glad at that moment when I got that message, I was living with my best friend. Her name is Jody, and she was like, "Finn," she's like, "she's narcissistic. If you go back, it's gonna be worse for you." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." And I was just like, I have to be done. But I mean, every time I left, she would send a message like that, and I would just go back because I'm not one to hurt somebody. I've been hurt so many times and had my heart broken. You wouldn't even be able to tell, honestly, unless you were unless we had a conversation. But you know what I mean? So I try to find the good in people that I think is there, that's not there. And that's why I kept going back, I think. But that's what she wanted. And that's what she was trying to do. She was trying to get me to come back, and it wasn't happening. Because if I did go back, I would have been in poor Sam's situation. And it was literally, Sam got there 4.5 months after I left. So it was just, it's just hard.
It is. I'm going to play this this next audio clip here. This is taking place before the last one you just listened to. So we're going to play that for you.
Okay.
You said skip ahead to the minute mark?
Just a couple seconds, because in the beginning, it's pretty quiet. You could hear a little ruffling because of me in the bed. But I mean, you could play the whole thing if you want. But I'm just letting you know it's a little quiet in the beginning.
We'll skip over to about here.
Okay.
Why are you slamming shit? Slam it. It's fucking cold. Everything piled up in there.
And whose fault's that? Yours? couldn't hit you, so I damn sure threw your shit all over. Because you threatened to put me in jail.
I'm trying to put you in jail. I said, if you hit me, I'm calling the cops on you. I never said
Exactly!
put you in jail.
If you hit me, I'm calling the cops on you guys. What does that mean? She threatened to put me in jail,
I said, if
right?
you threaten to hit me, I'm going to call the cops on you so you don't put your hands on me.
I would have still put my hands on you while 911 was on the phone with you. What the fuck? I did it to Brooklyn. The fuck? You think you special? You're worse than fucking Brooklyn and Daniel right now. You ain't no fucking special. She literally said I didn't threaten to put you in jail. I said we're gonna call the cops and put your hands on me. That's threatening to put me in jail, duh!
She was on on video chat.
So at that point, she was on video chat, you said?
Yeah, with a bunch of. That's who she was talking to when she was repeating what I was saying. She does come in though and sit down. You'll hear her. She comes in, and I was at this point. I believe I was laying in my bed. She was in the hallway, but she does come in.
Okay. All right, so we'll continue from that point.
Yeah, you could fast.
There you go. What's for hobby? To the point where I was gonna knock this bitch's fucking teeth out of her fucking mouth, and she threatened to put me in jail. No, hobby's up. I think he was.
He's back in his room.
Yeah, he was eating and then he went upstairs.
Mama, do you know what a duct tape is?
No, I don't. It was in the drawers. But you can't use the duct tape. You can't touch his stuff.
Help me to go to peace.
My stomach hurts so fucking bad, man.
You want me to fast forward?
Yeah, go ahead. You could.
Really coming at me. That
There
she
you-
erased. So that she'd have no proof, or I would have no proof that she was being a scumbag while she was here. If I did throw her out or leave her, this is what she does. And she goes back and tells her family shit about me, and then denies saying it when her family brings it up to me. She's told Steve that my trailer was disgusting and how dirty I was and all this other shit, but yeah, it wasn't my trailer was never dirty, scumbag bitch. My trailer was crowded. That's what the fuck made it look the way it did. It was never dirty. I swept all the fucking time. I got up and did shit all the fucking time.
Oh, she
I
did.
made it to where, listen, CPS was in my house countless times in 1 month and they still didn't take my kids and I was still cleared and unfounded. The fuck you mean? The fuck you mean? 48 times in 1 year? Or in 2 months, 48 times them bitches been in my house and ain't there. None of them ever said nothing. This bitch stood on my back and told her family about me. It's fucking hilarious. She even told her baby moms, her ex, cause she ain't no fucking baby daddy. Cause the girl's, it's her niece, not her daughter. She just raises her as a daughter. Anyway, she even went back and told Pinky shit that Pinky told me. About myself that I didn't even know. I was like, oh shit, really? Wow, bro.
I'm actually asking the same question. I don't know this or not. Maybe you'll probably be able to answer this. Stephanie asks, was she on drugs during this time?
So like I said, I was on a Suboxone program. I don't know if I can say that on here or not. Last time I said it on live, I got kicked off. But yeah, I'm on a Suboxone program. for a long time. I have a past, you know, everyone does. I've been sober for a very, very long time, and I've been on Subutex. I believe it's the one without the blocker because I'm allergic to naloxone. But she would take my medicine and tell me that I didn't need it. She was doing crack and cocaine with her mother, Shirley. I'm not sure if she was doing it, like I said, in front of me. I didn't know because whatever she did would be behind my back. So I'm sure she was doing it. But she was doing my medication as well. So yeah, she was definitely on stuff.
Yeah, that's
And like I
that's not
said,
good.
I called CPS. You heard her just say it. They've been there
Yep.
how many times? They didn't take her children. I
Yeah.
told you, she picked up Jennifer, aka Brooklyn. She says it there. You know what I mean? She's literally on this phone talking about me to these people, and they're all sitting there boosting her ego. Now I got all these people messaging me talking about, I'm sorry you were literally right now, like in my inbox, talking about, we're sorry you were with her and we're happy you got away. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even answering these guys back because at the end of the day, y'all were helping her and boosting her ego to beat me up more. Ain't nobody picked up the phone and decided to call. They knew where we were. They knew exactly where we were at. She told them everything. And nobody called for help. Nobody one time called for help. So
Yeah.
I had nothing to say to any of them. So
And I don't blame you, honestly, because like you know, during the midst of it, they could have totally said something and helped you in
Right.
any way, shape, or form. And then it's after the fact, after everything has already been said and done, now they're reaching out to you saying these things, and it's like,
Right.
I needed
Because
you then. I didn't need you now when it's already done.
I believe it's
You know
for
what I
clout.
mean?
I
Yeah.
know we thing last time. I mean, there's a lot that people are saying about clout. There is a lot of people out there trying to get clout off this. I'm not gonna lie, and mainly our precious friends and some of her exes. You know, like it overwhelms me with the amount of people. You know what I mean? All of this, it's very overwhelming. Like I don't want clout at all. Like it's very, very overwhelming for me. But everybody else, that's what they all want. They want people to hit them up. They want new followers. They want all this. And I'm not trying to, you know what I mean? I don't mind it. Like, that's fine, you know, but I don't live for that stuff like her, you know, it's just crazy. And now these people, like I've literally like people are sending me screenshots of things that are on her page, like all this stuff pertaining to Sam, and I'm seeing everybody that's hitting me up talking about, and that's on that video boosting her ego. I see them all liking and commenting and hearting, but here you are in my inbox literally less than a couple weeks later talking about we're sorry and we hate that girl. No, we're not playing that game because it's just not happening. You guys can go boost her ego while she's in jail too, because at the end of the day, me and my wife got me, so I don't need anybody. I mean, yeah,
100%.
but especially them people, no, go be her, go help her in jail because I'm sure that's what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean that's just it. Like, and I see some comments here. Jamie says they could have reached out to someone. Caitlin says someone should have called 911 that was on the phone.
Right, exactly. They should have, but they didn't.
Yeah, and that's just it. Like they had a part in time where they could have just totally did something to help.
Right,
And
they could even
chose not to.
wrong. You shouldn't be like that to her. Anything. You know, you guys are on a phone. You guys ain't gonna get nothing but maybe yelled at and blocked. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you could still help me. You know, and
100%.
nobody did.
Yeah, you know, and that makes you feel even worse because you feel like you're so isolated and you think it just feels hopeless that people know that other people know about the situation and there's nothing being done about it, and you're just like,
Right,
and
and
then
then
yourself, really, how do you get help if somebody's not helping you?
right, and then for someone to sit there and talk about me right in front of me to all them people and what she's saying, and you'll hear it. Like, how are you supposed to love me? You know what I mean? You're supposedly love me, but at the end of the day, you're sitting there talking like that about me. Like, yeah, when I was with her, I was a little bit bigger. I mean, I lost a lot of weight since then. But at the end of the day, you're not supposed to sit there and tell me that you like bigger girls, but at the same time, you're calling me a fat piece of shit and all this other, whatever. And it's just crazy. And I just couldn't deal with it. The mental, it was just, I literally, I'm not even going to lie. At that point, I would have been happy if I didn't wake up. And I said it. I said, I just hope I don't wake up tomorrow, because at the end of the day, I have nobody helping me. I didn't know, I couldn't reach out to nobody. I had no cell phone, no nothing, like I wasn't allowed to talk to my family. I wasn't allowed to talk to no one. I wasn't even, I mean, I applied for jobs, but when I got interviews, like, sent to me and callings and everything, like she would be like, oh, you can't work there. You're not going to that interview because of this reason and this. So I was literally never allowed to work either. Like and I'm a very hard worker. I love to work. I go stir crazy if I don't, and she was just crazy. Like I knew I had to get out of there. I knew I did. And I was just trying to find any way out.
Yeah. Let's play the rest of this and see what else was said during this audio
Okay,
recording.
I have to fast forward parts. Go for it.
Okay.
But I never, talked down on her, even though I watched her do drugs in front of me. I watched her put it in her body through a needle. I even gave her the drugs to do that. The fuck? That's how she told me what Brooklyn was doing. Because Brooklyn's the one that had the drugs. She shot in her fucking hand. Right in front of me in Seneca Falls, just January of last year. I mean, I went through hell in fucking back with this fucking female over here, bro. I still got the message, every single message she ever sent me from her old number too. If y'all want to see them messages too, because I'm telling you, this shit just gets worse and worse as the years go back. And I still chose to help this bitch, and still chose to be with this bitch, and still chose to fucking bring her in my motherfucking life with my kids. She's even threatened Skylar on me, bro, in North Carolina. And I still I whooped her ass there, but I damn sure stayed with her, didn't I? Took her to motherfucking West Virginia, Florida, Pennsylvania, got left in Pennsylvania with $100 and a return, a refund that was waiting to be deposited to my card with no cash in my pocket, no gas in my truck. Left her ass, took her all the way from Florida to Pennsylvania for her doctor's appointment, for her to go behind my back and playing with her fucking fake ass cousins, which is probably another whore, to go and leave me any fucking ways. That's why that bitch treated me like shit that day. And the next morning, this stupid fat fucking whore is out on the motherfucking phone planning on leaving me any motherfucking ways. So I had to be stuck in Maryland for 3 days, broke the fuck down until my friend Mayara, who I met on TikTok and knew for 3 years, helped me with money, her and her girlfriend, to get the fuck halfway to fucking Colorado. I made it to Illinois and broke down for 4 days. Got $300 sent to me by a friend of mine that I still haven't even fucking paid back, and I owe him. It's now been a year since that happened. Because I went to Colorado February of last year. Made it there. Started dating Yolanda March 3rd. Started doing the same thing I'm doing with Daniel and was doing with Brooklyn because of this dumb bitch. Causing problems where I was living in Colorado, causing problems in the house I was with and the people I was around, all for Desiree, because I chose Dez then too. I've left relationships that were way better than Desiree. Way better. For Desiree. I've sacrificed everything. My friends, family, a lot of shit for this fucking woman that's sitting here with me right now. And she don't deserve shit from me. She owes me her motherfucking life and soul, bro. Her fucking soul belongs to me. She owes it to me. Everyone knows I'm real as fuck and I always will be. I don't give a fuck if feelings get hurt for what I say. It's the truth that needs to be said. This is what I deal with all the time, and I have for the last 3 weeks, you guys. This is why I'm not on TikTok. This is why I'm not on lives. This is why I'm not in our groups and on our conversations half the time. I can't be. Because I'm fucking fighting with a fucking baby all the fucking time. All because she don't get to suck my nipple. She can't be. It's impossible. She goes back to being, she changes for a little while, and then she gets me to come back to her, and then as soon as she's comfortable and settled here with me and the kids, she changes up again. This is what she does. She's just like Skylar. She's just like Skylar. She's cheated on me like Skylar. She's put her hands on me like Skylar. She's threatened to put me in jail like Skylar. She's hurt my kids like Skylar. And I'm still with her, but yet I don't talk to Skylar and have it in 2 fucking years. Every time she gets in a situation and puts herself in a situation like at Jessica's house, when she put herself in that situation, she was always complaining to me while I was in Colorado, crying lying to me on the phone how she wants me to come home, and as soon as I say so, or as soon as I tell her to come to Colorado, she'll be there in a heartbeat, and blah 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 blah. But was fucking this bitch through text messages in my motherfucking while she's on the motherfucking phone with me. Seeing me butt naked in the shower, and she's telling this bitch what she wants to do to her in the computer chair, and getting pictures of her fucking her finger in her fucking fat nasty looking pussy with her fucking engagement ring on, and so she tells her to take that trash out of her hand before she sends her another video of her pretty pussy. Fucking disgusting bitch. Chair, she's making videos with me in a computer, for me in a computer chair, singing to me on the phone in the computer chair, right? And sends it to Jessica talking about the things I would do to you in this chair. Fuck out of here, bro. Fuck out of here, bro. I found this out when this bitch was sitting in jail in Pennsylvania last year when she gave me her fucking property out the jail. I went through her motherfucking phone, sure motherfucking did, seen everything I motherfucking needed to see. And still stayed with the fat bitch and loyal to her. She put me in shit. She robbed this lady's house, Jessica's house. She took her son's fucking, what are those things called? Drones and shit. She took a whole bunch of shit out Jessica's house, got me put in the middle of it where Jessica's daughter and them were coming at me at the place I was living at. Because she robs people, and she steals people's fucking shit, and she sets people up, and does stupid shit when I'm not around. So Precious gotta deal with it when I come around, because this bitch put me in the situation, bro. When I say I've been through hell and back with this bitch, more than anybody I've ever been with, bro, this is the worst person I've ever been with. Desiree motherfucking Gowson. Desiree Marie Gowson. Worst person I've ever been with in my life, and I'm still going back and forth with her. That's why I said, let me go marry Brooklyn for real. Then you could feel some type of motherfucking way. Because right now, she winning, you're losing. And you're the reason. You're the reason.
That's crazy.
Like, she don't understand. I could have been done went and married Brooklyn. I could have been married Brooklyn this whole time we was in the hotel together. I could have been went and took her downtown and married her for $40, bro. Could have been did that. Gave her my last name for real. Nope. 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 Nobody understands it's a blessing when you're in my life. And it's a blessing when you're still in my life after all you put me and my babies through. Because I've taken bitches out for less. I've cut motherfuckers off for less, bro. I really have. And every time she says sorry, it literally goes in one ear and out the other with me, because I don't believe anything that Desiree says when sorry is attached to it, because she does the same thing over again 5 minutes later. Look at how back and forth and flip-flop she was in those messages you guys are reading. Look at how flip-flop she was. And that's because I was letting her touch me. I was letting her kiss on me behind his back and stuff, and I was letting her do stuff. Oh, but then when I stopped doing that again, because I had to be in a car and I couldn't be home, it went back to the same shit. You see how it went flip-flop back and forth? This is what she does to me, bro. But she wants me to fall in love with her and stuff. Are you serious right now? Who the fuck would fall in love with somebody that's that flip-flop? Bitch, I wear slides. Just like I told Brooklyn. You a flip-flop, bitch, and I wear slides, so we ain't the same. Didn't I say that to you? Exactly. She's the same fucking way, except she's about 50 pairs of fucking flip-flops. In a shed with no tools in it. still dying. This girl looks young as fuck. She don't look no older than 21.
I'm sorry, your face is priceless, right?
Well, she says this,
Right,
and just to know what happened after all
Right.
this,
right. That's what I'm
that's
saying. Like,
crazy. Like that, to me,
that's
that's
why,
crazy.
like, right. And you wouldn't think, like, yeah, she's crazy, but you wouldn't think it would transpire into her killing somebody. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she said it a lot, but I didn't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. That's insane.
Is that pretty much it, though? That's pretty much the recording there.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But like, I don't know. Like, I didn't even know she
That's
said
a
that
lot
because,
to
like I said, I
unpack.
didn't listen to it. Right, I wasn't listening to
Yeah.
anything she was saying. Like I said, I was just laying there, and I was
Yeah.
just, I had the end of the phone, the bottom of the phone, like where you talk into. I had that like up on my shoulder a little and like sticking out of the blanket, so that way it wasn't muffled. And I was just literally just laying there, just letting her talk to whoever she was talking to about whatever she was saying.
Man.
Like, this is the first time I actually sat here listening to it.
So that was the first time you heard that. Yeah. So I mean, you were there, but like remembering, yeah. So it's
yeah, like I
it's
like,
eerie.
obviously I was there. I just wasn't listening to
Right.
what she was saying because every time she screamed about something, it was always, I don't know, it was always something. It was something or another, you know. Like, she's just, but everything she was saying, like, I don't know, like about me, like she never was like that. Like, yeah, she was mean and shit, but she wasn't like that at all. Like, she would say, "Oh, I let her kiss up." While we were there, no, I had my own room the entire time, literally, and I was also like I had an Obama phone. I mean, that's what they call it. And I had one of them phones, and I was like sneaking phone calls to people, like the iPhone that she said I gave her my property when I was in jail. Yeah, I went to jail for something she did. So we were in North Carolina. Let me just start there. And when we got down there, so I was at someone else's house in Buffalo, New York. And this person kept telling me that they were going to kill me and break my neck in my sleep. And they were trying to throw my dog out a 3-story window because he went to the bathroom on her floor. So like, I just needed to leave. And I knew Precious was like the closest person to me that would literally come and get me, because or whoever, you know, or find a ride, whatever. I just knew she was close, and I wanted to see if someone helped me. So by then, like, my family and that, like, didn't know where I was or how to get to me. So like, you know, that's why I called her. So I called her, and when I called her, she was on the phone with me that night. So that way nothing happened to me. I slept next to a refrigerator on the kitchen floor where I was with my dog. I had him on his leash, but his leash was literally tied around like my leg. So that way, like, I could feel if someone was trying to like move him. And because, like I said, they were trying to throw him out the window and whatnot. So when she came to get me, she told me that they were Jennifer, aka Brooklyn, and this girl named Bridget, and Thomas. Thomas was there too, because Thomas was dating Bridget, and we all were supposed to go to North Carolina. They already had all this set up. It was Bridget's family. We were supposed to go down there and have a place to stay. Well, when we got there, like, it was literally, I think it took 18 hours to get there. And not only did I use all the money that I had to help them get there, you know what I mean? Because I thought we were going to be okay, and that, you know, I'd be able to find a job and just, you know, I'll get my money back. So I wasn't really thinking about any of that at that moment. We got there. We did not have a place to stay. The people were pissed off that we were even there. It was Bridget's family's house, and it was only supposed to be Bridget and Thomas, I guess, that was supposed to go there. Well, it was me, Bridget, Thomas, Precious, you know, and that girl had 2 kids, Precious just 2 kids, and also that girl Bridget had 5 husky puppies, and the mother that just had all those puppies. Like, they weren't ready to go yet, and she kept saying she wasn't getting rid of them. Well, needless to say, that girl trashed the entire house. Okay, these people decided to let us stay there. They said they'll give us 3 days. Because I was like on the phone, like bawling my eyes out. I'm like, these people told us we had a place to go. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just crazy. So he's like, I'll give you 3 days to stay there, but then you guys have to leave. Well, in that 3 days, you know, Precious had made sure mail came there for her and everything, you know. And by the time then people actually, because they were in the Dominican Republic, by the time they actually got back, me and Precious were still in the house, because she's like, we're not leaving, you know, like, we were told we could be here. So she was like fighting with these people the entire time. So they came back from the Dominican Republic. Now, we were there for like maybe a month, and when they got back, they were literally trying to, like, now, and right before they came back, that girl Bridget left us there. Now, this is her family's house. Now, after she trashed it and let them 5-6 dogs trash the entire house, I had my dog too, but my dog was a service dog. He wasn't trained for that. He wasn't like that. So like he went to the bathroom outside like a normal dog should, and he didn't like trash anything. That dog was with me 24/7, and them puppies and that other dog got to have free roam of the house and do whatever they wanted. Well, they trashed the entire house, every blanket and piece of clothing that them children had in that house. Who was living there that wasn't there at the time, she used everything to clean up the dog feces and everything. Like they trashed this house. It was disgusting. And they came back from the Dominican Republic and they wanted us out so bad that the first day that they came back, they were literally standing in the living room telling us that they'll pay for us to get back to wherever we came from, you know, yada yada whatever. And she was sitting there screaming at them the entire time, talking about, you're not getting your house back, I get mail here, blah blah blah, you're gonna have to take me to civil. She was basically trying to take over their house. And these people were just like, okay, this is how you want to play this, then this is how we're gonna play this. And they walked out the door. Well, from the next day until the time that I picked up and left, we left from there to Florida, because we were going to stay with someone in Florida or whatever. They came to the house and they were trying to take the doors and the windows off from the outside of the trailer with there was like 6 other people with them. So now not only was the guys trying to take the windows and doors off the trailer, but this dude's mother was walking around the house putting something on the ground, like an oil-like substance, because for days after that you could literally see the whole ring around the house on the ground. So I don't know what it was, but she was doing something, yelling some like weird chant, like a spell maybe, like I don't know, it was crazy. And then so like I was fearing for my life at that point. Like I really thought these people were gonna kill us. Like that's what it felt like. And she's running through the house screaming on the phone with the cops, and there had to be like at least 6 police reports in North Carolina that I don't know what happened. You know, nothing happened at all. Like, he's like, my best advice for you, he's like, is for you guys to just pick up and leave. So that's what I did. I made $100 and it was like $110 and I got a U-Haul. Well, she got the U-Haul. We went from North Carolina to Florida. Now, as we were filling up the U-Haul, we didn't have much, because what we did have and what I did go there with, my brother's ashes, my dog's ashes that passed away before the dog I had my PlayStation 3 games, you know, everything, all my clothes, I had everything, literally everything that I owned with me. And it got put in a storage unit by this Bridget girl, because that's who had the storage unit. It was in her name. And we were all told to put our stuff in there, and that's what we did. And we grabbed a few things, you know, just for a couple days until we went back to get the rest of our stuff. Well, when I went back to get it, we had no longer had access to that. And this girl, like I said, this girl just up and left and disappeared and left us there and took Thomas with her. So it was just me, Precious, and Precious' 2 kids that was in this house. And they knew what they were doing, obviously. And until this day, like to this day right now, and it's so sad, but everyone's like, oh, I wouldn't have been able to just walk away. I didn't just walk away, but there was literally nothing I could do about it. I tried to get my brother's ashes back. I tried everything I could. I called the Army. I called the Army police. I called everybody, because my brother was a specialist in the Army, and he was also a state correctional officer. So like, it really killed me to lose my brother's ashes. Like, I never had to deal with anything like that in my entire life. And to this day, I never got anything back. So we went to Florida. We were supposed to stay in Florida at her ex-boyfriend's house. I guess another person that she had kids with. I don't know what his name was. But we get there, and these people said, no, you can't stay here, but we'll take your children. So her kids stayed there with them, and we stayed in the U-Haul. In the back of a U-Haul is where I lived for a month at a truck stop. Like, it literally looked like a bedroom. When you opened up the back of the U-Haul, it looked like a little bedroom, except no TV and no fan or nothing like that. So I lived at a truck stop. That's how I showered. That's how I ate. You know what I mean? We were there for about a month. She went and we got into a fight. She took everything that I did have with me, the little bit of stuff that I had, and threw it over a fence that I wasn't able to get to anything. There was a pond behind the fence, and we're in Florida. I'm not about to jump in a pond in the dark behind a truck stop in Florida. There's crocodiles. Like, no, I'm just not doing it. So I just left it there, my brand new tools, everything. And at that moment, it was just turning midnight, and I got my taxes. So that's like where I got like lucky at, you know what I mean? We went from Florida to she was getting ready to go to Colorado. She met someone on TikTok from Colorado, and like Precious is one to just jump wherever. It doesn't matter where she's at, she don't care how long she knows you. She's ready to just come and live with you or whatever. Well, she wanted me to go live with these people in Colorado, and it wasn't happening. I wasn't moving all the way to Colorado. That's so far away, first of all, from where I'm from. Not about to go live with someone I don't know. You know what I mean? It's just not happening. And I'm glad I didn't go, because I found out later on that she was dating this girl. And so it would have been just another situation, honestly, if I would have went down there. And I'm happy that I didn't go down there. But anyway, she was down there. She was down there for the entire summer. And yes, when we got to Pennsylvania, I lied. I had a doctor's appointment to get my medication because I was so sick because she took my medication and was doing it for herself. I was really, 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 like, it was bad. Like, you get deathly sick for not having those. Like, you just don't. I don't know if anyone knows their research, but if you do research on Subutex and you're on them, you can't just be taken off of them. You have to be tapered off of them. Well, she literally completely took on my medication, and I was so sick, like I was puking. It was just bad. So I was begging her. I said, can I please? I said, go to my doctor appointment. I said, it's Monday and here it is Friday. I said, I know we'll make it to Pennsylvania by Monday. I said, it's only like, it's not that bad of a trip. It's literally a day. I said, so can you please take me? And she kept telling me, no, I'm not taking you. We're going right to Colorado. Well, I ended up getting her to take me. So we took the taxes that I had and I bought a room for $400 for 3 nights. Well, the day we got there, it was like 2, 3 in the morning by the time we got there. And that's when I got the hotel room that morning. Can you still hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, we can hear you.
I don't know what's happening.
Uh-oh.
Having trouble
Can you hear me?
connecting. This is often caused by an unstable internet connection. Let me see.
Oh, we can still. I can still hear you.
I don't know if anyone can hear me. Please help me. I don't know what to do.
Can you hear me? You there?
I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you see me? I can hear you.
I'm not sure what's happening.
Looks like we're having technical difficulties. Sorry about this, everybody. Stephanie even says we can hear you. Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, everybody's confirming right now that we can all hear you.
I'm not sure what's happening. I can't hear him or anything.
That's weird.
Yeah, you can hear you.
I can't hear you, but I see it on my TV, so I'm just gonna keep talking. So we went to we were on our way to. She was on her way to Colorado. Yeah, we can't hear you. He said, "I know."
Uh-oh, there goes the video feed.
There it goes. There it goes. Okay, now I can hear you again. Yeah, I'm
Oh,
not
there
sure
you
what happened. It said that there was a loss of connection. Yeah, I'm on here. What was the last part you guys did here?
I got a little distracted with. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Um,
So I'll
yeah,
just start where I was at. So yeah,
Yep.
we left Florida and we were on our way to Pennsylvania because I needed medication, and we had to go through Pennsylvania to get to Colorado anyway. So I was like, can we just please go get my medication? So I got her to, finally agree with me and whatever. She was pissed off about it, but I did. And at that point, I was already in my head like, I'm leaving this girl. Like, this was my plan to leave. So this is right before I went back again in December 2023. So she went to Colorado. Well, we went to the hotel, and when we got to the hotel, it was like 2 a.m, and we all went I had restless leg syndrome, like completely so bad because I didn't have my medication. I couldn't sleep. I was up till about 6:30 in the morning flipping out because her kids were being loud. They just wouldn't stop. Like, and you think like, knowing I'm sick, I was just very, very irritated. Like, I don't know if anyone knows what it's like to be in the middle of a withdrawal, but it was horrible. I just couldn't deal with nothing. Like, I just wanted my medication and I just wanted to sleep. So I ended up falling asleep, and I was asleep for about 15 minutes maybe. And her kids started screaming again because they get up at the crack of dawn and they're, jumping all over, doing whatever, acting crazy, like for no reason. And she didn't want to do nothing about it. She didn't want to tell them to be quiet or nothing. So I just started snapping on her. And yeah, in that video, she's talking about me going outside on the phone. Yes, I was outside on the phone. And I was talking to my ex-girlfriend, Amanda, because I didn't know what to do. I needed help. And I was like, do you think I should just leave her? I was like, do you think I should go to Colorado? Like, I needed advice at that moment because I wasn't trying to go to Colorado, like I said, with like not knowing I don't know who these people are. I'm not about to go there. It's just not happening. So, she was going to Colorado, and I came back in the room and I told her, I said, I'm done with you. Like, I don't want to be with you no more. Like, this is over. And I was like, you can go. And I gave her, she had $100. We got a U-Haul in Florida. Now we already had a U-Haul from North Carolina, and she was trying to take that U-Haul and trade it in for another one in Florida. She got approved for it, but when we came out to get into the new U-Haul, the old U-Haul was in the other side of the parking lot, and they seen that. Well, as I was walking to the other U-Haul, because we were just going to take everything out of that one and put it in the new one and just leave that one somewhere. That was her plan. So when we got into the new U-Haul, like you have to inspect it or whatever. They came out and the guy was like, so what's going on with that U-Haul over there? And that's when she started shaking and she looked at me and she whispered, she's like, we need to run or we're going to go to jail. I said, no. I said, we're not running. I said, you're going to tell them why you want a new U-Haul. I said, don't. I said, this is how we're going to get in trouble if you just run and not say nothing. I'm like, we need to explain ourselves. Like, I'm not getting in trouble. Now, you know, I never been in trouble because I didn't know I had charges at all from North Carolina at this point. So, like I said, I never been in trouble before. So, like, now here, like, I've told her, I said, so I got her to stay and I got her to tell them. And now they weren't calling the cops or nothing. They basically just said, I'm going to give you a refund of your money. And that because you already have a U-Haul, you need to return that one to where it needs to go. And then you can get this one. So we were like, okay. So we left without that U-Haul and got in the same U-Haul we already drove. All right. So, her thing is stealing U-Hauls. That's what she likes to do. She would pay for them and just not return them. That's what she likes to do. So that's what she was trying to do. So, we turn around and they wouldn't get that U-Haul, whatever. So we go back to the truck stop. We get the kids, and somebody that she pissed off ended up taking the valve stems out of the tires for the air. And you know, when you take them out, your tire goes flat. So he took 2 out of 4 out of them, and so the U-Haul was tilted. So I ran across the street from the truck stop to the AutoZone I saw, and I went and bought valve stems, and I put them in. And I put air in the tires, and we literally were on our way to Pennsylvania, and we made it back to North Carolina, exactly the same town we were in and everything, and the tires blew out. Exactly. Like I was laying in the back of the U-Haul on a mattress trying to go to bed because, like I said, I was tired. I had restless leg syndrome. I was just irritated. So this is on the way to Pennsylvania. The tires popped. So she went and we took a one of them rides. What is it? What is that?
Uber,
An Uber, yeah, like an Uber, a Lyft, something like that. Yeah. And we took it to get a budget truck. Same thing, just a budget truck, not just, just a different name. And we went and she got approved for the budget truck, and she left that U-Haul right where it sat. Literally, tires messed up and everything. Like that U-Haul was trash. It stunk like pee. It was just bad. And because of being in North Carolina, there was also cockroaches because everywhere you go in North Carolina, there's cockroaches. So there was them too. So like, I don't know. It was just crazy. So we got everything that she wanted out of that truck into the budget truck. And we got to the hotel room. I had restless leg syndrome. Her kids kept waking me up. And that's when I started flipping out, asking people I knew for advice. And they're like, I wouldn't go. You know what I mean? If you go, it's going to be bad for you. And, it probably would have been bad if I did go. And I'm glad I didn't go to Colorado. So I ended up getting back to, I got my medication. And then that Monday morning, I had my mother come and get me. I gave her, she took me to the doctors before, so she knew how to get there. And so she got me, and she took me to my doctor appointment. We went back to her house, and then I don't know, she was in Colorado that was in February of 2023. And I was not with her until December of 2023 was the last time that I seen her when she came back from Colorado. And that's how it all transpired pretty much. And then I went with her I got to the hotel room, and that's that picture I gave you of, it says December in the corner, December 2nd. That was 2023. That was the very last time that I went there.
Yeah, this is the photo right here.
Yep, right there. Yep.
Now there's the two of you, right? And then her son, who was unfortunately involved in that.
Okay,
in the
so
Sam
these are all
Nordquist
her children.
case.
So that's the two of us. And then the little girl next to me with the short hair, she shaved her head. I was telling you about how she shaved her head because her mother was tired of, she was 12, well, right. 11 in that picture. And Javier, I was down there throwing his hands up underneath the heart. He was only 5 at the time. And the other ones that are so the one that's directly behind me and the one that's on the side a little more towards Thomas, those are her other kids, I guess, that were adopted out. And I forget what their names are at the moment. But yeah, and then Thomas was always around, no matter what. Like I said, he was always around because he lived on the streets. He literally wasn't allowed to live with Precious because he wasn't on the DSS case, and he was on the run. And everyone knows that when you're in New York and you have to go to DSS or whatever, you have to go see feds, and they have to make sure you don't have any warrants in all 50 states. So Thomas would never go down there. And so he was always living on the streets, and he would come there and sneak in the hotel room once in a while. But yeah, he was there a lot.
Yeah, and then Thomas unfortunately was involved with that, which he got caught with this lady named Kim, who's on the left-hand side there, if you can see her. Yeah, I mean,
Thomas
even,
got caught with her.
So from what I understand, it was that I think it was that one Thursday they both were arrested because initially it was the 5
Right.
individuals that were arrested and all that, and then a little bit later comes out that Thomas and Kim were arrested because of their involvement in this whole thing, and it's just I don't know how you would have I don't know how you any parent could ever allow, and I don't even care, like, I understand he wasn't in the best state of mind. I understand that he was doing things on his own. He was 21 years old. He has his own choices to make in life because, every adult does that. But to allow your kid to be involved in such a heinous crime like this, it says a lot about her more than anything else, and not only just that, but like what you've been explaining and what we've heard on these audio recordings and all that. It's crazy to me how she would allow him to get involved, and now his life is done. It's over.
Yep.
Now, was this his girlfriend? Was Kim his girlfriend, or what was?
So I guess Kim is Goodwin's fiance.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. So I guess that's who she is. I never met Goodwin. The only one I knew was Thomas and Precious and Brooklyn. Jennifer or whatever. Those are the only ones I actually knew. So she must have just met these people or something. So now I was told that Goodwin and Kim were the neighbors. That's who was in 16, and she was in 22. So that's why there was room 16 and 22, because those two were in one room, they were in the other room, and I'm guessing Kyle Sage bounced between both of the rooms. That's the only thing I could think of.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about his involvement in this because he's got a long track record.
Yeah, I guess so. I saw that on your last podcast, and that was wild with that little girl. That's insane. And so I guess the story is, supposedly he wanted to have a baby with Precious. Now, no, Precious be wanting to have babies for everybody, which is weird. I don't know why. So it was probably Precious trying to have a baby for her and Sam. And, and she knew Kyle would just be down because, he's dirty and obviously down for anything. So that was probably how that worked. And I can tell you, I put any amount of money on that. I'm dead ass because I know her. And so that's probably how Kyle came into it, because he would literally do anything because he probably was in love with Precious because, she was telling him whatever he wanted to hear, and so that's probably how he got involved. But I'm not sure. I never met any of them people. And, like I said, I'm very blunt, and I say exactly how I feel. Like, I don't care if it hurts your feelings or not. Like, that's just how I feel. You know what I mean? And take it how you want it. I could be nice, but when I feel like a certain vibe from somebody, I'm going to say exactly how I feel. And I probably would have told them people how I felt about them.
Yeah.
Like,
now,
I mean, go ahead.
So, like, it's crazy though. Like, I understand she's got this history, right? She's got this whole history of, being a narcissist, abusing her significant others, just being an abusive person to begin with. Her poor children living in such horrible conditions, being, pretty much present throughout all of the stuff that she's done to you, to other various exes, probably friends, family, whatever the case may be. But at any point, I mean, just all these years go on and on and on. And then all of a sudden it progressively snowballs into something completely worse. And unfortunately, when Sam traveled here, that was I would say the breaking point of what she was going to do at some point or another, in general, when it came to just straight up killing somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, but like having a band of characters like Kyle and Goodwin and Kim and Jennifer and all that just being involved in this. I mean,
yeah, you could just tell just because the amount of people that's involved in all this, you knew she didn't care about Sam. Because obviously, if she did care about Sam, why is there so many people involved, and why in the hell would you put your significant other in a dog cage? You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't understand. I don't get it. And now when I was with her, she didn't have animals. Now, when I first met her at her trailer, I was told she told me she used to have a dog named Princess or whatever. That was as far as that conversation went. And now from not being with her, I was told she abused that dog, but she did have a dog cage in her trailer, as well as a refrigerator on the inside and one on the outside. But the one on the outside on the porch, now it's wintertime, that's the one that worked on the porch. The one that was on the inside had blankets and a tarp around it, and there was bungee cords holding it shut. What was in it? I don't know. Couldn't tell you. I don't know if it was something crazy, but at that moment, I wasn't thinking like, is it a dead dog? Is it a dead whatever? I wasn't thinking, I don't know. But now that I'm looking back, like now I want to know what was in that fridge, because she always said, do not go near it and stay away from it. So that's what I did. I just assumed it was dirty food and she just didn't want it opened.
Makes you wonder, right?
It does.
This comment here from Candace says Sam was never in a dog cage. Where did this person find that? Because every report and everything that I've been seeing states that this was the case.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, if he was or if he wasn't, I don't know. I don't want to put something out there. But that's what it's saying. That's what the news reports are saying. So
that's
it just makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, we can only hope that was the but I mean, what difference would it make?
Right. I mean, it really don't make a difference. Obviously, they still hurt him either way. My point is if you love someone, how can you even do or even think about doing something like that to somebody? Like even speaking, the way she spoke to me in them audios.
Yeah.
Like I played them for a couple people, and they're like, how could anybody? I would never be able to talk to. I would never be able to talk to my significant other like that. It's just
Candace's
crazy.
family. So is it Sam's family that has confirmed that this never happened? Because I'm just curious. I want the facts. I
apologize if I, said anything wrong. I wasn't trying to like upset nobody. It's just I'm just going by what I read,
But that's what we do on the show. We report. We discuss. I should say we discuss what we read in the reports, and so that was one of the things that was reported on.
I mean, I also talked to his sister, too, and. Like I said, no one ever said he wasn't in a dog cage. So I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Nobody said that to me. I've never heard that until now, and I'm not going to ask, I'm just, I'm not going to ask them. I'm talking to them like, because like, I just try to like, just communicate, let them know that I'm here for them, whatever, and it doesn't matter, whatever, even though whatever I went through, I because of what Sam went through and me and Sam, like for me talking to like his coworkers and everything, me and Sam were a lot alike. We were in many ways, and it just at a point because of like the PTSD, like, did she do that to Sam out of anger because of like, me, like, because I know she hated me, you know what I mean? And if me and Sam were a lot alike, like, were you taking out your anger? Like, I don't know. It's just all this. It's just, I know it's probably not my fault, but she always said everything is my fault. So it just makes me wonder, like, poor Sam, like, and like, if I knew he was going through anything like that, like, I probably dead ass would have went there and beat the crap out of all of them, because I just no, you know what I mean? I don't agree with it. I just don't. I really don't.
Yeah, Dez, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you should feel guilty for anything. It's not your fault. This was going to happen regardless. She was just, this is the kind of human being she, if you can even call her that. This is the kind of person she was and is. I know. And is never going to change.
It's just a PTSD. It's just, you know what I mean? It's got me all over the place. And like, if I could have helped Sam in any way, I definitely would have, and it's very heartbreaking, because she deserves nothing but to rot. And I really do. I agree with everybody. If New York had the death penalty, give it to her. Give it to her, because that's what she deserves.
I agree.
I mean, at the same time, she should live through it, and she should get, whatever she gets in jail, because I know there's a lot of people in there that are about to get her. Like, so I know she will get hers, but at the end of the day, I don't know. I just wish they would just get rid of her, because she literally doesn't deserve an existence on this planet.
Yeah, I mean, with her and everyone else that was involved, like I said, we discussed Kyle in his history in one of the episodes that we came out with a few weeks ago, and I don't know too much about Goodwin. I've heard bad things, like nothing good about him. That had to do with children. Again, but that's the whole thing that I always try to get across with the message and all of our discussions. It's like, how does New York State not sit there and go, okay, we need to keep these people behind bars. They are no good. They're not going to be reformed and be refreshed after they get out of prison or jail, whatever. They are going to get worse, which in this case they did. And
I'm just sending you something real quick.
Of course.
I'm going to send you the pictures of that Frederick Dillingham real quick, so people could see, like, he is one of the people that threatened me and told me that was her brother, and if I did anything to her, he would find me and kill me. And like, I don't know, he was very, very, I'm not gonna lie, he was very scary. And he don't look scary. He honestly looks like he would be in the LGBTQ community, honestly. But he's, I don't know what he is. I don't know anything about him really. I just know what he said to me. I sent them to you in a text message. I don't know, like they just sent, but yeah, I don't really know. I just know what he said to me, and he was one of them people that's like, he was the only one I met though. Like, I never met anybody else, like anybody that is involved in this. And also Shirley too. I have a lot of people are saying, oh, what about Shirley? I believe Shirley probably did have involvement in this, because at the end of the day, Shirley and Thomas are the ones that are around Precious the most. It's not long for them to not be around. Like, you know what I mean? You wouldn't not see them often. You would see them all the time. All the time.
So Shirley obviously was probably the way that Precious was to her kids. And this is like an endless cycle that the family has just been continuously going down through generation to generation.
There's a video I was tagged in on Facebook. I don't know if you got it or not, but I could probably screen record it and, send it to you. It's on someone's Ring camera. It was them getting arrested, and it looked like it was at Shirley's house, because it wasn't a hotel room. It didn't really show anything. You could just see the cops running through the yard. Somebody ran through the yard, and they said, "Get the fuck down." And it was like a 10-second video. But I mean, so I know that's why we're talking about Shirley. And obviously, if it was in a house, that was Shirley's house, right? Because that's what everyone's saying. Precious was in a hotel, and she was at Shirley's house with her, so it had to have been. I know she was involved. I know Shirley was involved.
Yeah, Killer Case says Fred's a creep. Summer says Frederick is another sex offender.
Yes, he is. Yep, I heard that too.
Kaylin says he's a pedo and claims to be in a gang. I have been threatened by him when I released what he was and his charges. Yep. So again, this is another surefire sign that somebody is out there with, I guess would be charges, right, of pedophilia.
Yeah, I believe it was a pedophile charge he had. Yeah, he was on Megan's Law, but I guess it was for some underage girl that he was dating, and his story was the reason he's on Megan's Law is because he didn't know of her age. She lied about her age, but they all lie, so who knows? They're all pathological liars. So at the end of the day, I believe he's lying, and he probably did do something he shouldn't have been doing with someone that was underage.
Yeah, and I mean that's again like someone like Goodwin and Kyle, who obviously there was evidence against them, and I showcased some of the conversation that Kyle had with a 15-year-old, and nothing was done of that. I mean, I know he did a little stint in jail here and there, but what good did that do him when he kept getting out and found his way towards this situation, which it's crazy. It's like a band of Marilyn. It's like Marilyn. It's like the Manson. Charles Manson.
I heard. I know. We were watching it, and when you said that, my wife laughed. It was funny because you can't really describe them in any other way. I mean,
except for Dollar Store Charles Manson,
right?
And
exactly.
The Manson family.
Yep. Dollar Tree.
Dollar Tree. That's right. Yeah. We So Patty's Lodge. Let's talk about Patty's Lodge. I know you don't really have too much insight on the inside of that, but you've lived in places very close to what that would probably be in terms of conditions.
All the rooms were very small. Like there was a couple ones that I was in, like the one at America's Best in Geneva. That was a big room. I would say it was probably a little bit bigger than my living room, and my living room's pretty big. And off that room was a bathroom, and that's literally all there was. It was literally just a hotel room. So there's no way in hell that nobody heard things. You know what I mean? They just didn't. And that people, if they did hear it, they just obviously either didn't care or just didn't want to get involved. And I just wish somebody would have did something. I really do. It's so sad. It really is. It's just crazy.
Yeah, and honestly, I have all these people that are comment on our posts about Patty's Lodge, and some of them are like, "Oh, you don't know what it's like to be a business owner, blah blah blah. They have no, they shouldn't be, they didn't have any involvement in it." Well, it's like this, okay? So they allow people that have violent history of sex abuse and child, whatever you want to call it, and they allow them to live on their property. Now, as a homeowner, somebody who owns a home, if they have a slippery driveway and their neighbor just happens to walk on their driveway, slip and fall, they can get sued. Mm-hmm. This is actually a case that happened years ago where a family was outside of their house because they were on vacation somewhere out of state, and someone happened to break into their home and got hurt while they were breaking into the home, mind you, and then sued the homeowner and won that case.
Last podcast, that's wild. Me and my wife.
It's wild.
Yeah, it was definitely wild.
But these people are telling me that this business shouldn't be any way, shape, or form held responsible for this murder that happened on their property.
Yeah,
That's
well, that's
crazy to me.
their opinion. At the end of the day, yes, they should be held accountable, because if they weren't held accountable and something like this happened prior, I'm sure people have died prior to this. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of overdoses in all of them. There is not just there, like it's all of them ones that, like all of the hotels that are involved with DSS. I believe there's 6 in total. They are cash only, and you can't just go there. Like, yeah, it says weekly rooms on Patty's Lodge sign. There's no weekly rooms. It's only through DSS. That's it. And it is a week now. So every week DSS will give you a new form, and it's a paper. And on that paper, it basically says that, your room's being paid for. So every week you have to go to DSS, see them for a new voucher, and you can bring it to the office, and then you get to just stay again. So it was weekly vouchers, but I mean, other than that, like, yeah, and it was cash only through DSS. So DSS had to give them their cash.
Candace says, how was she even staying there still when she lost her voucher in October?
We don't know. Like I said, nobody knows, because she always did something. She finagled something, some way, somehow, to get in the system all the time. She always works the system. That's just what she did. Like, I was on the phone with my caseworker I was getting medical in Pennsylvania, and I was on my phone with my caseworker in PA, and because I had to switch from that to New York, and she was literally sitting there screaming on the phone at this caseworker, talking about, you're not doing this right and you're not doing that right. And he's like, lady, he said, I'm 40 some years old and I've been working for the state for almost 17 years. You're not going to sit here and tell me how to do my job. And then he proceeded to say, Desiree, if you don't get away from her or stop her from yelling, like she was literally screaming, cursing at this man and everything, he said, I'm going to hang up on you and I'm not going to help you with your case. So I then walked outside and she started bugging. Well, she didn't come out. After I got off the phone, it was like 10 minutes. It wasn't even that long. I came back in and she's like, you're a fucking pussy. You couldn't even stand up for me. I'm like, why would I stick up for you to someone that works for the state? Like, you're sitting here yelling at him for no reason. So why am I going to sit there and side with you? I'm trying to get something done that you asked me to do. But at the end of the day, you want me to sit here and scream at this man because he's yelling back at you. I have nothing to say. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do what I was trying to do. And I'm going to go on the phone and I'm going to cancel my thing and, have it transferred to New York. That's all I was trying to do. She's just rotten. And even when we were in grocery stores, like, people get me mixed up for a man sometimes. I don't like when someone says, oh, hey, have a good day, sir, or ma'am. I don't correct anybody. Have a good day. That's it. I'm going to walk away. Have a great day. That's it. So I went to the store with her and I think someone said, have a good day, ma'am. And because they obviously knew I was a girl, and she's like, that's not a girl, that's a boy. And she wanted me to be trans. She literally tried to force me to be trans. And I just wasn't with it. I just wasn't. I don't mind. Like I said, I'm in the LGBT community. I'm lesbian now. I'm not a trans. And that's what she wanted. She's like, well, you're my husband. And, she was telling everybody we were married. And it just, none of that was true. I never was married to anybody except my wife here now. This is the first and the last time I will ever be married. Ever. Yeah. You get married, you're only supposed to get married one time. That's just how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to get married 27 times your entire life. That's just not it. If you know, you know what I mean? If you know, you know. If you don't, then don't get married just because. And that's what she wanted. And not only that, now after this whole situation, like, what if I really did want to marry this girl? It wouldn't have been able to happen. Not that I wanted to. I'm just using that as an example because her last name, Arzuaga, isn't even her last name. I was told that the name that she has is a name that she got married into, and she did not divorce that person. So nobody would have been married. No one would have been able to marry her anyway. But so Arzuaga is not even her last name. I believe it's Eves. Like it is now. That's her married name, and it's on paper. But her last name is Eves. It's not Precious Arzuaga. That's someone else's name, and she just doesn't want to divorce that person. Yeah, it is
crazy, and it tells a lot. I think people looking at this from the outside in, and some of this is probably brand new to some people that have never even heard of any of the stuff before. And it's crazy because when it all happened in the mainstream media, here locally especially, you heard a little bit about it, and then it just kind of went away. And I'm just sitting there like, this is crazy. Someone lost, a loved one. Mm-hmm. Not even here in this state. They live in Minnesota.
And he's so young, too. He's only 24.
24.
With anybody younger. She's 39 years old. Like, when I first met Precious, I was just turning 30. I was only 29.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. But she definitely... had like a thing for trans people, and I'm not sure why. I just don't understand it.
Yeah.
Like, Sam came literally a couple months after me. I left her in April of 2024. Like, dead. Like, I left, huh?
You left there in January.
I left there in January, but like we were still talking on the phone like a little bit because like at the time I was, like I said, I was living with my friend. I just needed advice, and that's when I was just like, okay, I'm not going back, because my friend said, because I was gonna go back. I was right before, you know, Sam got there. I was gonna go back, so I probably would have been there when Sam got there, but I chose not to go back because my friends were telling me. Well, I met my wife too, but like before I met my wife, my friends were telling me like, do not go there because it's gonna be bad for you. And then I was like, you know what, you're right. So I just started, you know, doing my own thing. I got a job, you know, I was like, whatever, you know. And then like we were still talking a little bit, but she wanted mainly me to get her stuff for her kids' Easter. So she basically got stuff for everybody. For, you know, I got a bunch of stuff. It was like $160 a box per box. And these boxes were huge to mail them out. And I did. I mailed them out to her because I wanted to make sure that her kids had a good Easter, because I just know that they don't ever have anything good. I just felt bad mainly for the kids. And she then took stuff that I sent and she brought it down. That's when she showed up at my job. And that text message that I sent you was the very last text message I got from her before I changed my phone number. It was right after Easter. And that was it. I changed my phone number. I just didn't want nothing to do with her no more. And I went and, you know, was continuing about my life. I met my wife at that point. I was talking to her. You know, I met her and like I was having a conversation with her. So I just wanted Precious out of my life. You know, I said I didn't want nothing to do with her, and I continued to talk to my wife. Her name is Sarah. And so a couple days later, babe, it was like a couple days after that, she showed up at my job, and I was freaking out. I was an assistant manager at Dollar Tree in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And I was 5 minutes I had to close the store up. Well, we have to keep the doors open until the minute too, you know. So the doors were open. I had just had them locked, but they were open. And I was outside and I was just, you know, scrolling through TikTok, and, you know, I was getting ready to make a TikTok, and I see a shadow come behind me from the lights of the store. And I was about to turn and say, we're about to close. You don't have time to come in. And it was Precious. And I like froze, and I was just like, what are you doing here? And she's like yelling, you know, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to throw these at you and let you know you're a piece of shit scumbag. And then she was with her girlfriend, Monica, at the time. Monica got out the car, and now I began yelling because now I'm getting excited. My PTSD is all over the place. You know, I'm not sure what's going on, what's happening. You know, I was getting really, really overwhelmed, and I just started crying. Like I was freaking out, and I wasn't crying because I was scared. I was crying because of my PTSD. Like I just didn't know what was about to happen. And so Monica got out the car. She then grabbed Precious by the throat and said, I am always going to be Mr. Steal Your Girl. If you keep yelling at my girl like that, I'm going to have to beat you the fuck up. And Monica then got back in the car. Well, at that point, I walked into the store. Now there's like 3 minutes too. It was 3 minutes to 10 o'clock at night, because that's what time we closed. And she followed me into the store, and I went into the manager's office, and no one's allowed in there. And it was cracked open about that much, the door. And she's standing outside the door, and she's like, really, you're going to do this to me? And by then I was on the phone with my best friend, Jody, and her wife, who lived right up the street. That's who I was living with. Well, they were on their way down from like less than a mile away to go, you know, help me out and get this girl away from the store, because I wasn't trying to lose my job. And they got there, and Precious had then ran out to the car, and, you know, they got there and they're like, you know, confronting her, like, you know, say something now, you know. And I mean, like, it was pretty much about to be a fist fight. And Precious hopped in her car faster than she could and pulled out of there. And that was the very last time that I ever spoke or heard from that girl again. Except for that text message was right after that.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and that's why I was like, how'd you get my number? You know what I mean? And I started freaking out, thinking of Frederick guy talking about no matter where you go, no matter what you do, your social, your phone number, whatever you have that's current, I will find. So now here I am thinking like, yeah, her and that Frederick guy went on Ben Verified, and that's how they found me. Like I was freaking out. So then I moved with my wife to Ohio. And like I told you, like on the phone, like, you know, she didn't know what to believe, you know, because you just don't see people like that in the world. You know what I mean? Like nobody has to deal with that, you know. There's not many people in the world that you come across that's like her. So I was trying to explain to her what was going on, and she wasn't sure, like, is this really true? Like, are you lying to me? Like this is just, she just couldn't believe it, really. And it was unbelievable. And like, to this day, until the Sam stuff happened, you know, it was still unbelievable for her. And I was at work, and she's like, I am so sorry. She's like, that I was like having a hard time believing you, you know. because she sees, you know, I mean, she now sees that Precious really is that type of person.
Yeah.
And it's had to come down to this for people to know, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, I was still trying to let people know, but nobody wanted to believe me. Everybody was on her side. And then come to find out, she's stalking me the entire time I've been in Ohio. Literally, me and my wife. Like, I literally just found this out. So the entire time she was with, you know, Sam and whoever else was there, she's looking on my TikTok and she's screenshotting pictures of me and my wife. And my wife was in her nurse's uniform at the time, and she's blowing up the badge to see where she worked. She called every nursing home in Ohio trying to get my wife fired. And here, my wife didn't even work at a nursing home. She was a home health nurse. So, you know what I mean? She wouldn't, this girl literally did everything she could to try and get my wife fired and ruin my life while I was out here. But she doesn't know anything about my wife at all. Like this, like I literally just found this out. This girl literally was up until the Sam situation, and she went to jail. She was literally stalking my page. So like, I'm over here thinking like, oh, this girl's going to come find me, and I'm scared. And my wife's like, she's not going to come find you. And I said, how do you know? And here she is screenshotting things and, you know, trying to ruin my life and whatever she was planning to do. And it's just very scary. And it's a big relief to know she's in jail, you know, because if she wasn't in jail and I found this out, I'd probably be freaking out and running through my house like a crazy person because of my PTSD.
Yeah. A lot of justice for Sam comments on here. Candace says all he wanted was love. He never had it. Not in that place.
Same.
Not
that
in
was
that
all I
place.
wanted. I wanted love. I never had actual love before. Everybody that I was with cheated on me or hurt me in some way, and I was just over it. And all I want was someone to love me the way I love. That's it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what Sam wanted. And he got nothing. He lost his fucking life because she's a crazy ass bitch. Like,
Yeah.
It breaks my heart. It really does. Like, I cry about Sam all the time. I don't even know Sam, and I feel like I did, like, because of, you know, I just feel like me and Sam would have been really good friends. I really do.
Maddie says she was probably talking to Sam already on TikTok, leading him on too.
Probably.
Is that how they met? Is that how they met? Was
yeah,
TikTok?
that's how I met her, was through TikTok.
Really?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, she lured me to New York from where I was at. It's exactly how it worked out, you know? Like I said, I didn't want to be with her in the beginning. And she was just like I was making up like lies. Like I literally sat there lying to her over the phone. And I was like, I don't want you to come out right now. Cause this was in October of 2023. And I was like, I was like, I don't want you to come out. No, 2022. Wasn't it 22 or was it 23? When I first got with her, it was 22. Okay, yeah, October of 2022 is when we first got together, and it was the beginning of October 22 is when she was trying to like, okay, please come with me to Florida or New York, you know, whatever, and I'll take care of you. And I was like, no, I'm not, you know, and I made up a lie saying that I had unpaid fines and I was going to jail for 30 days, that I couldn't go with her and that I'd call her when I got out. Well, literally the next day she's calling, screaming, talking about how she broke down halfway to Pennsylvania to come get me. So I felt obligated to send her money so she can get to me the rest of the way and take me to New York. So that's how that transpired. Because like I said, I lied to her and made up lies, and I was trying to do everything I can so that way she didn't come to me, and she showed up. She sure did.
Just ghosts from the past just finding you.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I think so Caitlin says I sent charges and a pic of Frederick. Is this to the show, or is this to somebody else?
Must have sent it to my Facebook. Let me see.
Okay.
Check Facebook real quick. It's Caitlin. It's Caitlin with the R-E Reinhardt. I think it's how you say it.
Reinhardt, I believe.
Reinhardt. Caitlin Reinhardt. She sent a picture of. It might have been to the show. I'm not sure what she sent it to. What did you send it to? Can she comment and say what she sent it to?
Yeah, she'll be able to comment on here. Yes, to you.
Oh, to me. She sent. Okay, so
to the host. Okay, is it on Facebook? I'm sorry. There's a lot of comments in here. Sometimes you get you scroll through and you start reading them.
Right. I don't see no comments on here. It's just me and you.
Let me see if I can. I don't know if I can get them on here.
I can see them when they come up, when they first come up, but
yeah. Is this to the show page? Okay, let me see if I can find.
Yeah, if you can blow it up, and then I sent you the pictures of him to the number we were talking on.
Okay. Let me see if I can go on here real quick.
If you need me to send it to your email, I can make it easier for you.
Oh yeah, I see it now. Okay.
Okay.
Let me do some things here real quick and get these up there.
Yeah, go ahead. I got those from his Facebook.
See image.
because it was bugging me. Like I was talking to my wife about it, and I was like, I know his name's Fred, but I was like, Dillingham, that's it. And I looked it up, and he came right up. I said, yep, that's him.
All right, let me. I'm gonna transfer.
Those are the
over.
pictures I stole off his Facebook from when I was first there. That's what he was wearing when he got in my face. The red outfit with the red T-shirt and the black pants, I think, or shorts maybe. He was wearing that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he got right in my face. Like I literally, like I said, I just got out of the shower and I was reaching for a towel, and this man barging through the door talking about if I hurt his sister, he's gonna kill me and come find me. And like I was freaking out. Like I was like, okay, well you don't have to come find me because I'm not gonna do nothing. Like you know what I mean? So like I said, she was telling everybody that I was hurting her and doing all this crap, and here it is. Like she's so narcissistic. She's telling everybody that I was doing everything she's doing to me. Like, just like when she said I hurt her kids, I never once hurt her kids. But she's the one over here putting pillows over their faces and telling them that she's going to smother them if they don't shut up because her son was autistic. At least I think he's autistic.
Isn't that ironic that she's the one that's saying that you're the one hurting her kids when she's literally putting them through situations that no kid should ever have to go through.
Right, exactly. Like, they were there the entire time when she was doing that to Sam. They were literally sitting right there.
To me, that's wild. It's
like she tried to make me sleep. I had to sleep in between the kids at one point, and I didn't want to because the bed was so nasty from like, it stunk like urine is what it stunk like. And I'm not one to sleep in a bed that smells like urine. I just don't, you know? So like she was she had me sleep in between the bed, like in between the kids.
She did everything in front of her kids. How you told me that, like, how obviously her kids saw stuff.
Oh yeah, like yeah, sexual things too. Like she would do anything in front of her kids. It didn't matter what it was. Like there was times where she would try to force me to, be intimate with her, and I didn't want to be because her kids were laying there. I'm sorry, my wife's trying to remind me there's so much, and I didn't want to, I was like, I don't want to do this in front of your kids. And her daughter was literally laying there like, Mom, please don't. And she's like, you could shut the fuck up and mind your business. This is my love life. And this is why I can never keep a girlfriend, because of you kids. There was times she told me, like, when I fought with her, I'd be like, listen, I can't deal with your kids. Like, there's so much, And she's like, oh, I'll put them up for adoption for you. And then she's telling everybody that I told her that she needs to put her kids up adoption to be with me. I never once said that. I would never make anybody put their children up for adoption for me to come there.
Obviously, they saw a lot.
You know what I mean? But they did see a lot. They saw a lot.
So I got the picture up here real quick.
There was also a time, right, the last time I was there in December when we were at North Star's house, I was upstairs sleeping in the chair. I was literally dozing off in the chair. And when I woke up, nobody was up there except for Javi. So, I was like, whatever. He's playing with his toys, whatever. So I end up dozing back off again. And I heard a noise, like something fall on the floor. And when I woke up, her son Javi was standing in front of me with his pants down. And it looked like he was trying to climb up on top of me and do something. So now let me go back a little bit. From that moment, there was times where I caught her son, Javi, 5 years old, trying to put his inside of her, ripping her clothes off while she's sleeping. Yes. And there's other people that confirmed my story too, that were on live. They confirmed it. They seen it too. And like, I then started sleeping on the edge of the bed. So Javi couldn't get up on the bed and touch her. Cause I was, there was no yelling at him for it. Cause I yelled at him. It just didn't matter. Like, he would still keep doing it. So then I tried to lay at the end of the bed to try to stop him from doing so I could feel him to see if he'd come up. He started crawling at the bottom of the bed to her, and he started taking off the top of her shirt. Like, I woke up to all this, like, you know what I mean? So then when I was dozing off in the chair and I woke up to him trying to climb on top of me with his pants down, I lost my shit. I stood up. I said, are you fucking serious? And he went flying out the room, and that was it. And then the next thing you know, like less than 20 minutes later, now we were in an old, it was like an old rehab. He had bought North Star because he was trying to do like a rehabilitation thing for people that got out of jail and had no place to go. It had like 17 rooms downstairs, 17 rooms upstairs. And there was also another side to the house with the same amount, like there was just a lot of rooms. So there was those, those big blue lights. If there's a fire, they just shine the light, but no alarm. Well, that's what I saw. The whole house, all these blue lights are going off, and we're all downstairs at this point because I was getting ready to tell her what her son just tried to do to me. Now, her son's nowhere to be found. Couldn't find him because, like I said, it was a big house. There was ways to go up and down through the front and the back. So he must have went back upstairs through the back. And I'm like, where are these blue lights coming from? Like, obviously there's a fire somewhere. I didn't see no smoke. I didn't smell nothing. So I get upstairs, and I just get hit in the face with the smoke. And I was like, what the fuck? I get in the room, and he lit her bed on fire with a torch.
Oh, my Jesus.
Yeah. And then she told North Star, because North Star was downstairs and he wanted to know how he started the fire. She lied to North Star and told him that she threw a vape in the garbage, one of these, and it must have exploded. It was a torch. She had the torch laying right on her bed the entire time. It was her not paying attention to her children is what it was. And so right after that is when he kicked her out. And he told her that she had to go back to the hotel. And now, see, I didn't know any of this, until just recently. I was asking, why everything transpired the way it did. And I guess he told her to get out because, I talked to him now, and me and him are really good friends because, like I said, I let him know she was trying to get him on rape charges, that he didn't rape her. He didn't do any of that crap. And, I don't know. It was just crazy. She literally wanted me to lie for her to the cops and at DSS in Geneva talking about, oh, didn't he rape me? And they took me in another room like they do, they separate everybody. And I was like, I'm not lying for her. I said, she did not get raped. And that's when they told her that she had to go to Auburn to do a police report without me. It had to be just her. And she was like, oh, I'm not going down there because he's going to come after me. Now, mind you, North Star didn't even know about any of this. He wasn't coming after her. Nobody was coming after her. That's just what she said because she didn't want to go to Auburn to do it because she knew if she would have went down there, she would have went to jail for lying. She was just trying to get one over on DSS like she always does. And so I contacted him and told him, yo, she's trying to get you on a rape charge and many other things. And she also fucked up your car too. She poured rubbing alcohol and Red Mountain Dew in his gas tank. And so I told him, I said, do not start your car. I said, you need to go get that fixed before you try to start your car. And he was like, I appreciate you, for letting me know. And me and him became really good friends. And I still talk to him to this day. And that's why I said I didn't want to say his actual name because I don't know if he would appreciate that or not, No,
it's so understandable.
But other than that, yeah, she was something. She's definitely crazy. Yeah. That Mandy Lynn that's commenting.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mandy says I can confirm everything she is saying.
That was the girl that I was with before. So when I first met Precious on my 30th birthday, that's where I was. And she I don't know if she does or not. I'm sure she'll give it to you if you ask. But she might have some stuff from, because that's who I was talking to in the parking lot when I left her in Pennsylvania. I was like, yo, I need advice. Should I go? Should I not go? I was freaking out. I was literally flipping out. I was not about to go stay with someone that I didn't know, especially all the way in Colorado. It just wasn't happening.
Yeah. Here's a picture of Fred.
Yep. That's his, there you go. You'll see it up here, babe. That's his thing about him being on Megan's Law, I believe.
Okay. So this is the photo that Caitlin had sent in to the show to put on here. This is says photo date August 4th of 2023. So this is a few years ago that this happened. And he's out now, right? So he's out.
Frederick, I believe so. Yeah, I believe he's out now. I mean, I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't speak to these people. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't want nothing to do with any of these people.
I don't blame you. I don't think anybody should. And quite honestly, just from everything we've talked about so far, I'm very sorry that you and everyone else that had gone through this at all. And I'm sorry that people, saw what was going on but didn't do anything, or people were denying it. And unfortunately, that does happen. It's the same thing that happened with Kyle and all that. Even his own family were, trying to warn people, hey, look, this person has these tendencies and he's dangerous and this, that, and the other. And it doesn't seem like anybody really took action. Nobody was proactive about these situations at all. Everybody wants to act reactive after something's already happened. Someone already lost it. Sam lost his life. And now we're all now everything's coming out and everyone's like, oh, and you always hear that during history class and all that stuff. How do people not see this coming? And it's like, well, unfortunately, there are people that do, but then you have another portion of people that are like, that's hearsay. And just like you were saying, after the fact, then they start reaching out to you saying, oh, I'm sorry you went through this. It's like, well, you knew I was going through this, but didn't help.
Right.
And
yeah, and that's what I'm just hear that girl in the one recording, the Willard Chapel, how she's on the phone about the pictures, and she had that girl, Chrissy, she's messaging me talking, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, well, where were you then? You know what I mean? Where were these people then when they all knew, sitting there boosting her ego to do more to me? You know what I mean? You guys could have took whatever cell phone was around you, not the one you were on with her, but you could have easily called 911 and said where I was, because everybody knew where we were. She made sure she let everyone know everything.
Yeah.
And so not one person. The cops came,
comments,
but not for me.
Yeah. Haley says, no one gave a crap even when Kyle's own family told about the scum. Here's the thing. Now, during those text messages, if we can go back to one of them, it was, regardless, it doesn't matter. He basically said to the 15-year-old that he was a firefighter. Is this true? Was he literally in the fire department in some way, shape, or form?
I mean, I don't know, but I mean, if anybody is trying to be a volunteer firefighter, anybody could be a volunteer firefighter. So that's probably what he was.
That's crazy to me. How
I mean,
they just don't
try
even
to volunteer.
do the
Like
research.
they'd rather take volunteer firefighters than hire anybody on because you know what I mean. There's
True.
just they get more. Obviously, you know what I'm saying. I know for a fact because when I was younger, I know it's off topic, but I was raped by someone, and he was a volunteer firefighter. So, like I said, it's very easy for you to become a volunteer firefighter. I mean, I'm assuming, obviously, because there's so many.
Yeah,
His
Stephanie says
family.
no, his
Someone
family
say
is.
yeah, his family is. So I guess maybe.
Well, then he yeah, because
unless he was
told the
just trying to
15-year-old that he
lie
was on
and
a
say
call.
he was to make himself look good, maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was. And I honestly saw a whole bunch of stuff out there saying that he would use his brother's likeness and all that stuff to create all these different accounts on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah,
and,
that's wild.
You know, he would. Can you imagine, like, you use your family's photos to stalk women and just do these heinous things? Like I saw on there, like, he would drive by, you know, women's houses and text them it's Kyle time, and then he would, like, you know, sneak up on their house or whatever where they lived, and it's wild. Like, and nobody did anything. Like, and then like you would see people say that they would report him to the cops, and the cops would go, "Oh, there's nothing we can do." Like, that's another part of why I always try to make these things, you know, with awareness and all that, is because it shows you that nobody wants to do anything until, like, somebody gets either seriously hurt or, unfortunately in this case, killed. And
right. Someone commented here. I'm reading it now on the other phone. It says they're talking about North Star, asking if his name is Giovanni and stuff. No, his name is not Giovanni, and I would appreciate if anybody didn't ask, because it doesn't matter, and I'm not going to say it only because of his privacy and because you know he didn't do nothing wrong to nobody. You know, all he did was help me. He helped me a lot. You know.
Yeah, 100%.
So much. So like I just don't anyone getting the wrong or idea or, you know, impression, and then someone saying something to him, because I mean, I'll let him know. I will tell him, you know, because I tell him everything.
Yeah.
I just don't want, I'm not, you know, trying to cause drama or nothing, but no, I'm not about to answer that question. And no, his name is not Giovanni. Yeah.
No, and that's like when we had the initial conversations before we did this episode together. I wanted to make sure you were comfortable in diving into these insights, because I know it's not easy.
You know what I mean? It happened so long ago, like, well, I mean, it wasn't that long ago, but it was still, I mean, but it still happened, and people need to hear, you know, because people are just assuming because of everything that happened with Sam, like, there's more to it. Like, you know what I mean? She's been like this for years. It ain't just because of now. Like, this has been going on, you know?
Yeah. And it makes you wonder how many more cases are like that in New York State. It makes you wonder how many cases are like that in America or the world in general, but specifically in New York State, because that's where we're based out of. And so, you know, this is where this horrible thing happened with Sam. And I just, you know, and not even that, like, where are the people that represent us? Right. I think our governor, Kathy Hochul, made one blank statement, and it was it. Like, she didn't hear anything from her ever again. I don't even know if any town representatives said anything. I didn't really see anything on their end. And obviously the news sources that exist within this community, they covered it briefly and then just went on to another flavor of the month. And for me, it's like, that's not how you go about things.
Investigation going on with Sam. I do know that. And I know that they don't want to put any more out there until they finish their investigation. I was told, you know, by a couple people, you know, and investigators and prosecutors, you know, not to speak of it, you know, like, I could talk about some stuff, but not everything, because they don't want people knowing it. They don't want the public basically knowing it, because this is a big thing. They said, like, this is a really, I guess it's going to be like it's a high profile case, I guess they're saying.
Yeah.
They don't they don't want people getting the wrong information and putting it out there. You know what I mean? They want right information out there at the right time. So I think that's why and no one's heard anything yet about all that. But there's a lot going on. There really is. There's a way more to it than anybody really knows. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're to do many things, you know, for this case. And I don't want to say anything yet, because there is people that know, you know, like Sam's family and stuff. But other than that, besides Sam's family, when they're ready for me to tell everybody, that's when I'll tell people, you know. But Yeah, so there is a lot more going on. It's not like they're not doing anything about it. They are. They definitely.
Good.
As far as the
Yeah,
government,
and
on her end, I don't know what they do as far as cases like this or any type of case at all. But I'm sure there will be a lot more said. There will be.
yeah, there has to be. There
Right.
really
And
has to be.
like I had
You
a
know,
reporter hit me up too. You know what I mean? So I'm sure there's going to be way more on the news. Like an NBC reporter. Literally, I spoke to him last night. So
yeah. And
so
this
yeah.
should be on an international level. This definitely should be on an international level because honestly, with all this stuff that happened, and there's all these things that, and I want to get your take on this because I know we discussed briefly how, her type was transgender men and, the view of it being a hate crime. I want to know your opinion on that. Like, do you feel as though that was more of a hate crime than anything?
Honestly, I don't even know what to think. Some part of me thinks yes, and part of me thinks no, because like I said, she was so obsessed with trans. Like I said, she wanted me to be trans. So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like
Yeah,
my
because
face.
I know,
Man.
like I've discussed this with my co-hosts. I think either on or off, but we all discussed it, and there's I guess belief within the LGBTQ community that there's some that feel a certain way about the trans community, and I
Like I
don't, I'm not sure about that because it's just
I wouldn't put it past it because she's just psychotic. You know what I'm saying? So like
right.
the amount of people that were involved, if it's not a hate crime, why was there 7 people involved?
Exactly.
So,
Agreed.
like
You
I'm
know?
probably was, you know what I'm saying, a hate crime for them people, for them, but for
Yeah.
Precious, I don't think it was a hate crime for Precious because that's just how she is with everybody. But it probably was a hate crime more towards the other 5 because they all think they're like, in this gang and they think they're tough shit and that, that's what they do. So mainly Thomas too. Thomas was always, oh, I'm GD, I'm this, I'm that. Thomas ain't shit. But an uneducated, I don't even know what the word is for him. Adolescent, dirtbag. Honestly, he's just a dirtbag. He's just he's an uneducated.
Obviously, obviously this crime wasn't done out of love. I can tell you that.
Absolutely
And
not.
I always think about like, I try to put myself in those situations where you try to put yourself in the situation of Sam.
Right.
And what you're going through and what your thoughts are. And, obviously the way she was talking to you, I could only imagine what she was saying to Sam. I could only imagine the things that Sam had to hear as all these heinous things were going on. And it's just, and I don't, it's disheartening.
It is. It just leaves you for a loss at words because you don't even know what to say because like, it's just so mind-boggling. It's crazy. It really is. It's so sad. It really, really, like it takes a special kind of person to, have someone come out there for love and then you kill them.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I watched the Gate all the time. My wife got me hooked on that and like Law and Order, SVU, all of that.
Yeah.
And we watch all this and I'm like, wow, like it's crazy. And we've actually said it before, like I can't believe stuff like this actually happens in the world. And then here it's somebody,
we did discuss it on the phone, and I was saying like, we watch SVU, we see these episodes and all these heinous crimes that happen that Olivia Benson goes and solves, and in real life though, like people need to understand this is also happening in real life. Like behind closed doors, you just never know what's going on, and it's the thing that like people need to understand.
Right. Like everyone like I have people asking me like, how could you insert yourself in a position like that? How do you know you don't know what's going to transpire into something like that. It's not like I said, hey, I like crazy and let me just go there. No, like I wasn't trying. It's not like I knew, you know what I mean? Like, so, it's not anybody putting themselves in a type of situation like that. It just transpires. And obviously, like I have a lot of people coming at me talking about, oh, you went back there. You look so happy. I went back because of a trauma bond. I did look happy. I sure did look happy in videos and everything because I did exactly what I was told to do because I knew if I didn't, it wouldn't have been good. Nobody knows what happens behind closed doors with Precious. Nobody.
So you've seen the video, right, with her and Sam, and she's talking to Sam's family saying, oh, I'm not hurting him, this, that, and the other. what do you think? So how do you think that whole scenario went down? How did she get him to go along with this video? And who do you think was behind the camera?
She would make me do it. She would literally sit there and tell me what I had to do and how I had to do it, exactly how I had to do it. Like she would literally coach you before she started the video, you know? And so that's, she probably said exactly. And like I said, Sam looks like he's staring at somebody, you know,
Yes.
someone in the camera, and the bruises that are on his neck, there's obviously bruises under his chin. Like I didn't really notice it until people started pointing it out, and then you pointed it out, and I was like, I was like, I had to go back and look at that video a couple times, and that video was definitely forced. You can definitely tell that. Sam, you can. The way Sam was in videos, like I went on her TikTok and I found a video. It must have been when Sam just like first got there, like around like I think it was Halloween, if I'm not mistaken. And you can see Sam being so happy and funny in the background, and then you see videos like that one, and then you see a completely different person. Sam was just not himself.
Yeah.
And I've talked to his sister, you know what I mean, and everyone even agrees with me as far as that. Sam was being forced. You can just tell. His own family even said it, you know?
Yeah, 100%. And,
Absolutely.
you know, it's just, it's so sad to think that Sam comes here from Minnesota, leaves family and friends behind to search love.
Yep.
And ultimately ends up being the last thing that he ever does in his life, his very short life of 24 years.
Yep.
And
He didn't even
it
get
breaks my heart. It does, because
baby.
I think everybody on this planet is in search of love, I think. And, you know, you even experienced this with Precious, but he was captivated, thought that this was the love of his life, and then ultimately didn't realize that this would be his unfortunate demise in a place that just was nothing but filled with hate.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's bone chilling. It really is.
And to think that, you know, her kids, her children were there. Not the son that was involved. I'm talking like the little kids.
Yeah.
And just witnessing this.
Mm-hmm. They witnessed everything. Like her daughter watched her. Like she literally smashed my face off the toilet, and you know what I mean, and was beating me with a stick. It was like it was long, and it had a hole through it, and it had a string tied through the hole, and she would hang it right behind the bed, right above the headboard. And her daughter would witness all of this happening to me. Like there was a time I called police in North Carolina when she's beating the shit out of me, and when they came, she pulled a knife on me right before they came, and she threw the knife and told her daughter to say that I pulled the knife, and her daughter did exactly what she was told to do.
Yeah. Somebody says that Emily girl looked like she had neck marks.
That girl, Emily, I don't know who that girl was either. I've never met her. You know what I mean? I never, ever met her. And like you said, like she looks like, I don't know. They all look like they're just naive, and I don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I don't know how anybody, after seeing and hearing anything, because there's many people besides me that say exactly how she is. So I would be scared to even hang out with the girl. And that girl is 19 years old. Like I said, I don't know nothing about them, but Jennifer, her IQ is 50. I've seen that. That's like literally on paper. I've seen it. And if you look up the mentality of someone with a IQ of 50, that's literally between 9 and 10 years old, like their mentality. So that girl, I don't think that's why she's out there singing like a canary, because she's free. She's free from Precious. You know what I mean? She knows Precious can't get to her if she tells the truth now, you know? And like, just like I said, the restraining order she had against Precious that I saw, it was literally in my hand, and I was reading it. She's like, look at this shit. And she showed it to me, and I'm reading it, and it said like, she got beat with dog toys and ropes and strangled with dog leashes and like all this crap. And Precious told her she loved her and she was sorry and she really wanted to be with her. And the next thing you know, Sam's there, and I don't know, it's just crazy. Like they got back together. That girl just never left. Like she had so many opportunities to leave. She spoke to her mother all the time. Precious and her were always on the phone with Brooklyn's mom. But I don't know, like it's just crazy. Like it's so crazy. Like she literally, so like I don't feel bad that she's in jail at all. I feel bad to where she doesn't know what she's in for. That's what I feel bad for, because this girl really
Yeah.
does not know, like, at all. I don't think she's ever had charges, and if she did, it was probably something dumb, but she literally does not know what she's in for. She just don't.
Yeah.
And I'm
Roxanne says, "This is my daughter, and I lost a son that served our country, and it took a toll on her mother and on
that's
her
my
as well." Okay, because 30 Precious took her brother's ashes and threw them in the garbage. She's a nasty fucking living monster. Sorry for my language. Don't say about my kid. Yeah, no, don't worry about the language. It's okay.
no.
Look, that's why. That's another reason why we do this, is because we're being authentically ourselves. And like, if you're angry and you're feeling passionate about something, that's something that you're able to do. That's the way it should be. And
Yeah.
you've gone through a lot. You've gone through enough, and I know your family feels exactly the same way. And and I'm glad that you have the support system that you do.
Yeah,
And
thank you. I said about my brother's ashes on the last live I did, and the people that took the ashes were on there saying, "Fuck your brother. You're never gonna get his ashes back. They're long gone. Like it. Like get over it." Like they literally were on here commenting like about like, and I was like, "Listen," I said, "I'm not over here talking about y'all." I said, "I'm just telling my story," because he kept
yeah,
saying, "Keep my shorty's name out your mouth." I'm gonna name the people that I came like this is my story, this is my life, and I'm gonna name everybody that I came across to, like everybody. I'm gonna name everybody. I don't care who you are. If you helped me, if you didn't help me, I'm gonna say it because it happened to me. I'm not
yeah.
about to out like that's not
Nobody can
happening.
take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from you. You went through it, and you can tell your story how it needs to be told.
Exactly, and I mean, I'm not out here leaving stuff out. I'm not here making shit
No.
up. Like I'm being completely serious.
Deneen says the dog cage and dog toys are what makes me believe Emily was wearing some sort of dog collar. That could very well be, right? I mean, if that is the case.
Probably, like I said, if she told, like she was trying to make me wear, I saw Sam wearing it, an earring with a cross hanging. She literally tried to make me wear the same things, and I wasn't doing it. Like I didn't have my ears gauged. I did a little bit. Like I was just starting to gauge them. They were a little bit smaller, like a lot smaller than they are now. And she threw all my gauges away, talking about you can't gauge your ears, and I wasn't even allowed to cut my own hair. Like if I wanted to do something to myself, I had to ask permission. I couldn't hair, I couldn't dye my hair, I couldn't wear this, I couldn't wear that, I couldn't talk to this person, I couldn't have a cell phone. Like when she came to get my property out of the jail, she told me to get it because I got a paycheck, my last paycheck for my job. It was like $400 and some dollars. She wanted my card. And I, filled out the paperwork for her to get my property. And she was supposedly she was bringing my phone back because I was getting extradited to North Carolina. And I guess supposedly the day she came to bring me my phone and everything back is the day I got extradited. Do I believe that? No, because she's a liar and she sold my phone. She sold it.
Yeah.
She sold it. She was supposed to sell it to get me home from North Carolina. Instead, she didn't give me nothing. I had no phone, no wallet, no nothing. All I had on me was the clothes I had on my back from when I went and got out of jail. And it was shorts, a t-shirt, flip-flops, and some socks. And I had a hat. I was freezing. It was pouring down rain. I was outside I got out on a Tuesday and I didn't get back to Pennsylvania until Saturday morning. And that was only because my best friend, Jody, I called her from a homeless man's cell phone. I was in the middle of Washington, D.C. because I panhandled from North Carolina to Washington, D.C. because it was the furthest I can get. And then I went from Washington, D.C. I sat there for 4 days almost. And on the fourth day is when I found a homeless man with a Obama phone or whatever. And I called my friend and she got me a bus ticket home. Like it was crazy. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
And then went to North Carolina from there.
Yeah, Mandy says last she knew that they were in the storage unit in North Carolina. So
yeah, that's where that's where they were at. Like when I left North Carolina, I'm not even gonna lie. I broke into that storage unit. It was like 2 or 3 in the morning. They were closed, and there was a fence there was a big fence around the entire place. Like it was huge. You couldn't climb it. Like there was cameras. Well, there was a business next door, and that business had like this little alleyway that went down, and there was like a river, like almost like a bridge kind of, but like a little river, but it had like walls, almost like a bridge, and you had to hop over. Well, there was no water down there, so I hopped down. And if you look on the other side of the fence is where the storage unit was. There was a big hole, and it looked like somebody must have been broken in already. So I was able to get in there, and I took my drill with me that I had at the time, and I was trying to break the locks. I broke one lock, but there was a disc lock, and I couldn't get into it. Like, I literally tried, and I was not leaving North Carolina without my stuff, and I just couldn't get it. I knew by the time I was done, it was turning daylight, and I knew I had to get out of there before I did get in trouble, and we just left. I wasn't able to do nothing. There was literally nothing that I could do. I tried everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
With all this being said and done, what would you like to see going forward in just society in general? Like, what would you like to see to make sure that this is prevented from happening to someone else, to be trapped in this situation and ultimately
she needs to stay
life?
in jail and stay out of society. She should not be allowed to walk the streets ever again, because if she does, it is bound to happen to somebody else. It is.
Yeah.
I think she's going to get out, and yeah, she may have charges or whatever and fines and whatever she has to pay if she does get let back on the streets. But at the end of the day, she's still going to be right back on TikTok and right back to luring people right to her, because she's going to
pay more attention to who you meet online. I think that's what he's saying. Like, what do you want to see in society in general? Like, people pay attention to who you meet online.
Oh yeah, definitely pay attention. If it's not, you know what I mean. Look into, if you're going to be with somebody over the internet, find out who they are and hit up friends, whatever. If you see someone, whatever, just anybody, hit people up and just start asking about her. If they don't want to tell you, there's always someone else that will.
Yeah.
And her, him, whoever it is, because at the end of the day, you don't know who anybody is. You just don't.
That's right. You know, that's the scary part about the internet and technology in general, is that you don't know who you're really talking to. Yeah, you might see their face on TikTok. You might be able to talk to them voice to voice, whatever. It doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, you don't know who they are until you enter the realm of reality. Like, entering that room at Patty's Lodge and witnessing this in real time, you start understanding who you traveled out to see and meet and be with.
I just drove through to show everybody, you know, where it all happened at. Did you get like a bad feeling, like that something bad happened there? Did you have like how was
so
for you?
I actually have been in that location years prior, and I never got a good vibe from it. I can tell you this. So the person that I did business with at that point in time, I could tell there was kids in the room, but I never got a good vibe out of that place. And so like, I knew that people lived there and all that stuff, but I didn't understand the depths of it. I heard bad stories from people that lived in Canandaigua about it, you know, being a drug den and all this other stuff, and that, you know, predators live there and all that. But this past time around though, driving through there, just looking at the building, looking at the room, and just knowing what had transpired there, it's not a good feeling. Just
Right.
I you know, I don't know how to explain it other than this. You know, you look at a place, even though it's closed up and all that, you can almost feel the energy still there.
Right. That's what I meant. Like, did you feel like I don't know, just obviously you didn't feel like yourself. You know what I mean?
No, and I know people got upset because I made that video, and they're like, "Oh, you know, they're why you
know,
trying to make your name for yourself to shut them down." It's like,
right. At the end of the day, everybody has their
making a name for
feelings.
myself isn't what this is about. This is not
Exactly.
even. This is what it's about. Is that we're trying to make something. You know, we're trying to bring more awareness to what happened, and people want to sweep it under the rug and not be held accountable for it. That's on them. But at the end of the day, they're going to have to live with themselves after all of this is said and done. They're going to have to live with themselves knowing that someone passed away horrifically on that property. The owner of that place, now I think I saw a video of them. Somebody had sent a video, and I guess the owner was crying about this whole thing and, you know, being grilled about it all, and just like in general, like they have a level of responsibility as the owner of this property, that someone ultimately died on their property. And
Right.
I think I saw it earlier. There was overdoses that I think people were saying happened on there, which I wouldn't doubt.
Oh, and all of them. Like, I don't know what the hotel was called that I was in, that they had me, like, right after I left, after that audio that you played.
Mhm.
They put me in a hotel, and I'm not sure what it was called, but I believe Patty's Lodge was directly behind it. And I was always told that I believe it was Patty's Lodge, that the place directly behind us, there's always overdoses. There's always like just bad stuff that happens there. You know what I mean? There's always drug busts and everything. It's crazy. And like you said, Patty's Lodge is definitely going to be known for their name now because of everything that happened. And I really do think that they should just close it down, because that's what they're doing.
100%.
Make more
Yeah, I
profit.
saw Haley says, Haley says Patty's belongs in Rochester, not here. No, actually, to be honest with you, Patty's Lodge doesn't belong anywhere. It needs to be, like Tamara said, Patty's needs to be torn down.
Yep.
And ultimately, just leave the land. Leave the land. If anything,
Yep.
build a memorial here. Build a memorial.
Build a
Something.
memorial, like anything, something that
Somebody had commented at one point in time, I think it was last week, they're like, oh, Patty's Lodge gives people a means to get back up on their feet. Where? Because honestly, I don't see anybody that lives there getting back up on their feet. If anything, they get stretchered out on a body bag. It's not a good place. Nothing good comes from Patty's Lodge. You go there to die. There's nothing good comes from there. And these people are supporting it. The one guy had nothing to say other than, oh, go get a job, loser. You're a moron. It's like, you have nothing to contribute to this conversation, Home Fry. Please, just stop commenting.
Absolutely.
You know, it's like, do they have something personally invested in this place? That's what I question.
Right. Any place that has to do with DSS, if you're getting placed in a hotel from DSS, none of them hotels that DSS is partnered with is any place for you to get up on your feet. All people do is use the system out there, which they're all just, they don't care. All they care about is the next paycheck they're cashing. That's all they care about. So at the end of the day, they'll place people wherever. It doesn't matter. You know, oh, if something bad happens here, I'll place you. Here's the next hotel. Like, they just don't care. They don't care about your well-being. They act like they do, but they don't. Because if they did, they would be on people's asses. Like, yeah, when you go to DSS, you get packets. Oh, look for a place. Look for a housing, whatever. Look for a job. Come to these classes every week. You can do all that, but at the end of the day, they should be getting on people's asses like, okay, you didn't do this, now you got to get out, because this place is for you to get on your feet. If they really cared about anybody getting on their feet, then none of this would have happened. Precious shouldn't have been living in a hotel for as long as she was. And for as long as I've known her, she had her trailer for about, like I said, I was there a week, less than a week. And I had Mandy Lynn come get me, the one that's commenting. She came and got me. And after that, she left. And then she was in a hotel from then on. So she was in a hotel the entire time I knew her. Literally the entire time.
Yeah.
So if you're there to
never
get
got better.
Right. If you're there to get on your feet, why are you there so long? That's a damn lie. Ain't nobody there to get on there.
No, not at all. And the fact that they allow predators that, you know, have crimes against children living in the same vicinity of that people have children in. That's insanity to me as well. Because like you know what's going to happen. It's only a matter of time.
Like, they literally make you go down there to see feds just to make sure you don't have any warrants in all 50 states. You care about a warrant and throwing me in jail, but you don't care about me being a pedophile or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care about any of that. You know, like they have the means to look it up and know, like, obviously they know if they're looking at your background from all 50 states, they obviously know that you're a pedophile or whatever you are. Why would you let anybody be there? It's just crazy. It's insane. So everything you're saying is exactly right. I definitely agree with you 110%.
Right. Casey says, most definitely people waiting for them all in prison. She says, I lived in a hotel through DSS for 2 years during COVID, and now I have a car, a house, a job. I stayed in Farmington by the Thruway. That's awesome. That's what we like to hear. We like to hear success stories.
Right.
You know, it's not, we don't want to see people go down that path. I know for a fact that normal people would not want to see that.
Right.
But the fact of the matter is unfortunately there's a lot of people that get in these situations that end up worse. You know, either back in jail or whatever, or overdosed or whatever. And it's unfortunate.
It's something else.
Mandy says predators aren't allowed to live near children. So why was this even okay? With a parole officer or the registers? That's a good question. Does anybody research that stuff? Like,
I don't know.
Where was this? Right here. Sarah says, DSS failed Sam terribly. He should have been given a bus ticket on the next bus out when he addressed any kind of fear or abuse to them. All these free rooms they give out to these people, but couldn't save a life with a bus ticket. Justice for Sam.
Absolutely.
100%.
Because I don't know, just DSS knew everything that Precious puts people through. They should just automatically been like, nah. And from what I'm hearing, Sam wasn't able to get a room through DSS. And there is certain people that do go to DSS and get turned down and are told that they have to go live in a shelter, you know? So I don't know. She probably just forced Sam to live there, you know? And Because if DSS was to tell, she said it, she always said it, if DSS tells you you can't stay here, I'm just going to sneak you in and out. And yeah, you're not supposed to sneak people in and out because there is people that come around and check, but they don't come check every night. They come check once, they'll just pop up on you. And I was there when he came. It was the first night I was there, and some Brooklyn I don't know, it was either Brooklyn or somebody must have said something to DSS, because that's when Brooklyn was sleeping in the laundry room, and she was literally getting beat up and everything by Precious right before I got there. Because Precious was bragging about it and everything. So when I got there, that girl was literally sleeping in the laundry room and was moved to a different room. Like, so they know what goes on. They should just not, she should not be allowed to have, or shouldn't have been allowed to have anybody to be there with her at all. Like any type of relationship. Like if you're in a relationship, you don't get to have a room in DSS. That's how it should be.
Yeah, 100%. Nikki says, I also myself have lived at Patty's Lodge and I made it out. I have a great job and an apartment.
Yeah, most people do. Most people do the stuff that they're told to do and supposed to do. But when we went to DSS, they give you packets, and she was making me look for everything while she sat on her bed on TikTok. Literally, she was on TikTok all day, every day. She did not move. And if she moved, it was to stand up and do a video.
Mandy says, apparently DSS made their employees sign an NDA after this. Like, seriously? They know they are dead ass wrong for this.
They do know they're wrong.
That's a red flag right there, don't you think? Like, if you see that, you're like, oh, what are you hiding? You know, and that's the thing. Why would they need a non-disclosure agreement for something that they apparently don't have a responsibility for?
They don't. They just, like I said, all they care about is the next paycheck they're about to go cash. Because if they care, I told them what happened. They knew she punched me in the face. They knew exactly what happened. I showed them the audios. They didn't care to hear it. They didn't want to hear it, and they're like, okay, we'll move you to another room. Well, the night before I went to DSS, when the state police came, when I called them, DSS didn't help me. I called the after hours number for DSS, and nobody wanted to do nothing. So them cops paid for a room out of their own pocket for me. And the next day I went down to DSS, and I told you, I called the after hours number. I was on the phone with the lady with the cop standing there for almost 45 minutes. And I got my room and everything. And I went down there the next day, and she's like, oh, we didn't know nothing about it. Well, you guys have an after hour for what then? If you didn't know nothing about it. Right. It makes no sense.
Yeah. Stephanie says NDA does not supersede a criminal matter. It's an NDA to not allow them to discuss with the public what's going on. I think a lot of businesses do this just in case like the media or anything like that comes to you. There's an NDA. You don't, and I know that because like in companies that I've worked for in the past, they would say, if a person of the media comes to you, don't agree, and then they'd have you sign something or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, well, that's kind of weird, but like, but I guess I can understand that to a degree, but still, this is a serious matter where somebody lost their life. I mean,
absolutely.
Yeah. Sherry says, Terror 22 unit down. Yeah, that's so crazy. Like just going by that unit and just, I don't know. I saw a picture on the door. Was that, I didn't really get a good glimpse of it. I don't know whose picture that is. Was it Sam's? Did somebody put that on the door?
On the door of the place? I don't know. I'm not sure. See, I live in Ohio, so I don't know. That's what he's asking. He said it's on the door.
Chardonnay had one of her friends go check over there.
Okay, so then So I guess Chardonnay had one of her friends go check over there or whatever. So
yeah, Chardonnay's been doing a lot of good things. I haven't talked to her or anything like that, but I have been following her and everything that she's been doing, and
she really is. And I give her a lot of.
She seems like a real sweetheart. So she's doing everything she possibly can to get this message across, and so are we. Everyone's got their platform here, and honestly, that's the thing that I always wanted to have, is this being a platform for people to be able to come on here and discuss and explain their experiences, no matter what it is. But unfortunately, this is one that's more of a serious and dark and, just unfortunate situation where, and it doesn't matter what it is, but we need to talk about it regardless, and I know there's times on this show where we like to, do comedy bits and all that, but this is not one of those times. This is a time where we're sitting down, we're talking, and we're discussing, especially with the children.
Yeah. And like how she was with her kids and people behind closed doors, like the verbal abuse, that happened in public too. She didn't care. She didn't care where she was. She didn't care who she was around. If she wanted to yell at her kids, we would go for a walk, and a walk that would have took 20, 35 minutes at the most took up to 2 hours because we had to stop every 2 seconds so she could yell at her kids and beat them. And like, it was crazy. She literally would drag dry their hair. Her kids constantly had head lice. So you can tell what kind of mother she was. And I was giving her son a bath, and I came out and I said, your son's hair is covered in head lice, like he's infested. Like, it was so bad. I've never seen the amount of head lice he had on any human before in my life, ever. And I told her, and when I told her about it, she started screaming, talking about, what do you want me to do? And so, okay, well, if you're not going to do nothing and you're just going to sit on TikTok, I walked over to Walgreens and I went and bought him head lice medication. And she's trying to use mayonnaise and Coca-Cola and all these home remedies. Just go over. You get money from DSS every 2 weeks for you and your children. Up to $8 like every 2 weeks she was getting, plus food stamps. And you couldn't tell me you couldn't go there and buy $30 head lice medication?
Right. You would do anything you possibly could to help your children out. And that it's so wild to me. I never understood, like, even when I was, before I was a parent and everything, I never understood just not helping your kid or feeling love for your child or helping them. You know what I mean? Like, and then hearing things like this, it's like, I couldn't imagine. And it's just like, it just further proves your point to just how vicious this whole, the whole thing is, just, and how much of a monster she is.
Right. And then right after I left her, like, I told her, she's like, well, why don't you want to be with me? And I sent her them audios, and I said, because of this. And all she cared about was when I called her a washed up whore. She's like, oh, you called me a washed up whore. Yeah, you're right. I did, because I was snapping out, and I say a lot of things that I don't even remember saying. Like, I just hearing it, I was like, oh yeah, I did say that. Yeah, I was pissed off, and she is a
Yeah, Killer K says this makes no sense. So you sat and watched her beat her kids. No, we did discuss what you had gone through and how you stepped in, and then you would get the worst of it.
You will rewatch this, you'll be able to know what I did. I called CPS and DSS, and she even said it in the audios. They came to her house 90 times in a month and did nothing.
Something like that. Yeah, did nothing.
Right, exactly. So that's why I didn't do nothing, because I was going to get beat. Like, I don't know if people know this or not. I wasn't allowed to, I didn't have a cell phone at this point. I wasn't even allowed to wear what I wanted, let alone wear my hair or my hat the way I wanted to. You know what I mean? So yes, it does sound crazy. Why didn't I leave? But there was nothing I could do. Nothing at that point.
And that's the thing. I think everybody needs to understand there's and I understand there's people out there like, oh, how does somebody stay in an abusive relationship? Well, it's not easy. It's not easy like we think it is. Like, I can't understand it, but
exactly. Especially
you know what I mean? And I'm not gonna pretend to understand it. I'm gonna say this: like, there's a reason why. There's a psychological reason, probably a living situation reason as well. And I think it's not up to us to judge anybody on that. I think it's up to you, the person that's going through it, to explain it as best they can once they're out of it. And some people do stay for other various reasons. Maybe they think it's going to get better. I don't know. Right. But the fact is, though, is that people always try to put themselves in that situation and try to judge others for that. And I think that's kind of distasteful. And, for me, I look at it like this. I know it's not easy to a degree. Like, I know, I can understand it's not easy. But do I understand it fully? Absolutely not. And I'm not going to claim to.
Absolutely. And that's not the first person that's asked me that since I've been out here telling my story. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. Like, I did call DSS and CPS. CPS is CYS, whatever they are, take your kids or whatever if you're, neglecting them. I called them. I made many accusations, and she clearly made a video on her TikTok and said, and I'll say it again, she said, whoever tried to call CPS at me, haha, the joke is on you, because they were here and they closed my case and did not take my children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, she lost her kids before. She did lose her kids before. Was I with her at the time? No, I was not. But I heard about it, you know what I mean? And she got them back. She said it. She's like, I did everything they wanted me to do to get my kids back, and they ain't never going to take them again.
Yeah.
Like, you yourself heard it on the recording. They come there all the time, never take her children. Like, the cops showed up and in Auburn many times because her kid was taking the phones while we were sleeping, and because they had phones also that didn't work. Like, her son was running around with an iPhone 11 Pro Max that wasn't turned on, and he used it for Wi-Fi. He's calling 911, telling them to go fuck themselves and they're pussies, and just saying all this shit, like profanities, to 911. And they showed up at the house like 6 times, I think, in a day. And they're like, if you don't control your kids, and they got it for that. They definitely got beat for that. They got taken from it. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't condone nothing that she did to her children, but there was also nothing that I can do.
Yeah. So nobody can ever claim that nobody knew anything.
Right. It's not
nobody
like I could
claim. Right.
Snap out, say, yo, stop doing that to your kids, because then I would have got hit. The only thing I was able to do was call yes, and if they did their job correctly, she would have never had her children.
I
So
agree. That's the thing I also want to make awareness about is like,
right,
where are these? I mean, how can our system here in New York State just let this stuff just slip through the cracks continuously, and I mean continuously?
right.
Now it's like, how many other cases are like this that aren't being reported, or how many other cases are like this that never get, what happens to those children,
Right.
and just the fact that these kids of Precious went through all this stuff for many years that they've been alive and witnessed the things that happened to Sam. I mean, what happens to them now when they grow up?
Mhm.
That's what I worry about. Like, how does this affect them going into adulthood? And what happens when they get older and finally realize, like, all the stuff they went through is just horrific.
Yeah, it's crazy. It really is. Like, it was crazy when I was there. So, I mean, them kids been there. He was 6, and she was 12, and their kids. They can't. I mean, her daughter ran away a couple times, and when I was there, and instead of getting welcomed back with open arms, she was getting dragged back in and beat, So that obviously her daughter didn't want to be there. You know what I mean? So there was signs,
Yeah.
there was, and nobody cared. Like I said, I called CPS. I called them and told them everything that I witnessed. And obviously she was able to keep her children. So they didn't care about anything but the paycheck that they were cashing.
Yeah. Mandy says she confiscated all of Dez's electronics. Dez went through constant hell dealing with this crazy psycho. She had no power. Dez didn't even have access to electronics. No nothing unless she had Precious's permission. So don't insinuate that Dez did nothing, because no one lived the nightmare that Dez did.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. No one knows. Like, everyone's like, oh, well, it's what you say. Yeah, I'm only telling you what I want to tell you at the end of the day, because it's just a lot. It is a lot on me. It really is. Like, the toll on you, and then sitting here, like, I get emotional. I don't want to be like that. You know what I mean? But, at the end of the day, I do have to tell my story, so other people know, maybe, I hope they don't let her out. That's all I say. I just hope they don't let her out, because if they do, they're freaking stupid.
Yeah. Well, that would be insanity. Just repeating the same cycle over and over again, expecting different results, because that's what they've been doing so far. But now somebody has already lost their life. How many more people need to die to understand that these people are never going to be any good in society?
Right. And if CPS isn't doing their job and letting her keep her kids, like, who's to say she won't get out? What if they don't do their jobs and let her out,
Right.
Because,
right.
Like, I don't know. I just, like I said, I hope she gets everything that she deserves, because she definitely needs to be in there for the rest of her life.
Yeah, I think every one of them should be the rest of their lives in jail, behind bars, wherever. And even though Jennifer's singing like a canary over there, I don't think they should cut her a deal or anything like that, because, there was points in time where maybe she could have said something, spoke up, did something. I understand it's not the easiest, but it's better than watching somebody lose their life in front of you.
Exactly. Like, she was able to have her phone. She was always on her phone, just like Precious was on hers. So when I did see her, and when she came around, at the time she came around, she was always on her phone. There was ways for her to say something, because at the same time, her and Precious didn't have the same hotel room. So when she did leave Precious's side for however long, it was, she still could have made something happen. She could have made an anonymous call, whatever,
Yeah. No, I completely agree.
Right. She chose to stick around and continue to help do whatever they did to Sam. And, it's crazy, because I saw videos of her and Sam, and my wife was showing me. She's like, look, she found someone that's transgender. And I was like, yeah, I said, I care, but I really don't care, because I just wanted her out of my life, And then not even 2 weeks later, we see these videos are taken down, and you know what I mean? And I was like, wow, I said, maybe Sam actually, figured out and got away from her. And then here, the poor kid is dead,
Yeah.
It was a little bit longer than 2 weeks, but it was like August when I seen it, and then like it was like December when I seen nothing, and I was like, well, maybe Sam just got away, And then I'm at work and I'm getting phone calls from cops and all these people telling me, they thought I was missing. Like, Chardonnay reached out because she literally thought I was missing, and everyone thought because I left her and dropped off the face of the earth. I didn't let anybody that, because I lied to her too. I lied to her and told her I was in Rochester. I wasn't in Rochester. I was already in Pennsylvania. I wasn't telling her. You know what I mean? So people probably did think I was missing, but at the end of the day, people that was, around her thought I was missing or whatever. But yeah, I'm not missing. I never was. I just decided to just not tell people what I'm doing with my life anymore, because, I had to figure something out for myself, and I did. I got married, and she's the best thing that's ever happened to me, because, I don't know. It's crazy. I wish I could have met her a long time ago because that's all I wanted was someone like her. And I thought Precious was that person, and apparently she's not. Well, wasn't, obviously. She never will be.
She never will be. Exactly.
Anybody for that matter. Like, it's just crazy. And along with the
Yeah.
other, like I said, I don't know. But if any of them animals get out, they need to not ever get out. But I don't know if they all do. I don't know. I hope someone does something about it. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I agree. I know I did this a couple episodes ago, but it doesn't hurt to do it again. Just with everything that's going on with Sam and what happened with him and all that, I just want to take a moment of silence because I think it's important, and I just want to just take that time now. I know I said what I said in a couple episodes ago, but I really just want to say this piece. Justice needs to be served.
Absolutely.
These individuals that committed this absolutely heinous crime never need to see the light of day again. Let them stay where they are. Keep them there. Nobody needs them around. The rest of society will do just fine, absolutely better without them around. So, New York State, do your thing. Please don't let them out. There's no reason for anyone else to have to suffer, to go through the things that Sam went through, that Dez went through, that anybody else that has run across any of these individuals ever went through. And I really hope that we can learn from this going forward with everything that has happened, over the years. And just, I hope and just pray that they make the right decision and keep these people away from everyone else. No other innocent lives need to be lost here. And especially now that we know the truth, the evidence, all the stuff that's going on, and whatever else they gather in their investigation that we don't know about, use it. Please don't ever let them out again. There's no reason for them to be out in society.
Yep, absolutely. There's no reason for them to be out in society to do it again because it's just going to happen again.
Yes,
really,
absolutely. A lot of justice for Sam comments.
Justice for Sam. I agree. 100,000,000%. Justice definitely needs to be served, and I know it's going to be. I know it will be. Absolutely.
Dez, I appreciate you coming on with me and discussing these experiences you experienced over the course of time, and I'm truly sorry on behalf of not only me but the whole rest of the M-Balm Effect crew. We are very sorry to hear about the horrific things that you went through, that Sam went through, and we really we want to make sure that this doesn't just get left in the abyss. We want to keep this going because it's important for people not to forget something like this. And absolutely. God knows how many other people have gone through this, not even just in New York, but in our country, in our world. And just, we're human beings, and I said it in the last episode or whatever. I did say, no matter what side you're on, politics, religion, whatever, does not matter. We are human beings at the end of the day, and nobody, not one single soul on this planet ever deserves what happened to Sam. This is disgusting. And the people that had control of the situation and made this possible, I hope they realize how much of a monster that they are. I hope they realize. They probably won't, but I hope that one day they get it. They get the conscience that comes inside their head and creeps inside, and I hope they think about what they did, because what they did was absolutely disgusting, and nobody should ever have to go through that. No, and ever. I just, I want to send my condolences to the Nordquist family, and just say I'm truly sorry that this happened to you, and not to sound in a bad way, but I wish Sam never came here to New York. I wish that he would have stayed in Minnesota and never came here to meet his demise. We all do. We all
wish we can turn back time and I wish I could, because I would have told Sam. I know people did try to tell Sam, but he was just, when you think you're in love, you just go with it. And that's what he did.
Yeah. Dez, thank you again.
Absolutely. And thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why when I talked to you on the phone, I was like, I just want to make sure you're comfortable. I don't want you to feel uncomfortable. You don't, anything you don't want to bring up, that's A-okay with me, because I'm not the kind of person that's going to drill you about stuff. And
absolutely. Like I said, I'll tell everybody whatever, everything I've been through. I don't mind telling my story, because people do need to hear it, and because I wish I was able to do this before, so maybe this could have been prevented. But, at the end of the day, I was just trying to keep her out of my life, and I didn't even want to think about the girl. She was not a thought in my mind until, and it's crazy. But I appreciate you having me. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you. And for anybody else that's tuning in, this might be your first time listening or watching this show. Check out our YouTube channel. Go subscribe, please. Help us grow so that way we can keep growing.
Subscribe to the M-Balm Effect. He's awesome.
Like, subscribe, hit the bell. It's the best platform for you to get the M-Balm Effect. Typically, we talk about anything and everything, real life experiences, horrific things that happen like this. We set that tone, and then we also throw a whole lot of banter and comedy in there, dark comedy. That's how we cope as people. We all have our way of coping. I'm sure, Dez, you have a way of coping that nobody else can understand.
It took me a long time to find a coping mechanism, but I got there, and my biggest support system is my wife, and I couldn't thank her enough.
Yes.
She's my
I just
best
want to
friend.
make sure that, and I'm glad that you're in that situation now where you feel true love. You have the support you will always ever need. And just know that not only me, but the rest of the show, we support you. If you ever need to reach out, Dez, please do.
Absolutely. You too. Like, if you ever want to know anything, if you think of anything else, just ask, and I'll definitely do my best to help you out.
I appreciate it. I just want to make sure that the message gets across to everybody. Hopefully this episode not only lands here locally in New York State, but I hope this episode is spread all over the country, all over the world, so that way they have insight of what actually happened with Precious and who she really was, and they can understand more about the situation because you went through it. You lived it.
Right.
You witnessed it in real time.
Yep.
And I just want people to understand that this is not just the only case in this world, but there's more out there, unfortunately, that slip through the cracks even worse than this one did. And, there's people out there that care. And
yes,
we
absolutely.
all do here.
It really is. It may not seem like there is people that care. Just takes half a second. Just pick up a phone call. Even just dial 911 and hang up. They'll still show up.
100%.
Don't push these people. Like, don't feel like you have to.
Yeah, and don't feel like you have to put, like, if you are in this situation, don't feel like you have to, like, pressure them to get answers. Try not to pressure nobody to get answers, because it just makes it worse for you. And if you do see someone and you do know anything, don't be boosting their ego either to make it worse for them. Just nonchalantly just get them help. Then no matter however you have to do it, just do it.
Yes, be empathetic.
Even if you tried and you don't succeed, at least you tried and you have that on your conscience.
Exactly.
Absolutely. But I appreciate you. Thank you. Of course. Absolutely. And you are very welcome.
Of course. And again, for everybody else, thank you for tuning in, listening to Dez's story, and getting more insight on what's going on and what happened with Precious and what led up to the unfortunate case of Sam Nordquist. For everyone else, I'm your host, M-Balm. This is Dez. Thank you for tuning in. This is the M-Balm Effect. Bye.
Bye.
That's it for this week's show. The fun doesn't have to end here. Check out our YouTube channel and get us wherever you get your podcasts on for more M-Balm Effect content. Don't get too wrecked, and have a great rest of your week. See you next time.
The M-Balm Effect.